Welcome, Tommy. Thanks very much for joining, Tommy. I'll be with you all presently. Nice little gap there to start the day. Is the mic still working? Yes, seems to be so. Is the volume loud enough? I think the volume looks about right. Should be very good now. That's it. Nearly too loud, possibly. What is this weird scene? Ha! That's kinda nifty. That's kinda nifty. Good afternoon from Greece. Hello, Greece. Happy afternoon there, my friend. How are you in Greece? Boy, I wish I could be there now. Thank you very much for that generous donation. And thank you for joining up as a member, Tommy. Okay, so as per usual, I started off and gave you the exact price targets for today. And then I had some technical difficulties, and now I'm conflicted about giving them again. So as we're in this intermission, so you've got the intermission screen up there, and you can see all the prices, and I'll be back in 2 seconds, and hopefully by then we'll have filled in the gap and we'll be able to do some real TA. Thanks very much. See you all shortly. I'm sorry to upset everybody. I shall be there shortly, I'm sorry. If you're looking for something to do while you wait, you can hit the like button, or you could Google how much it is to buy a Ferrari Aperta near you. $200 likes already. Is that true? That's pretty good. So it must mean that I have a better relationship, a stronger relationship with you, precious few. I'm sure we all remember the days, those hastily on. Oh my god, I can't speak. Have I even said this word out loud? Those Hey Salon days. When we were thinking, oh, we got over 1,000 viewers at once. And now we'd be lucky to get 500 or 600. That's the truth. But the truth is also that we're getting far more likes per person that turns up. So that must mean that you and I are better friends. So we're getting some price targets for today. So yeah, let me see in the chat, and if I get the price target that somebody else is thinking the same, yeah, that's it, came. Hull sigh on days. Holy goodness, have I spoke this word out loud? Not in years. That's how long it's been. 9/11. So that's quite a high target you've got there, Charles Brooks. So yeah, let me hear your targets in chat, and I'll be on in a second because I'm trying to get things ready. And I'll be on sooner if somebody gets the same number as me. I'll just go on for today's targets. Is it your birthday today? I should be giving you a fiver, Daniel. Happy birthday, Daniel. Today's my birthday, and at the market end was announced. Is Ryan going, my daddy? I think so. Is it announced? I haven't got the news up. Is it announced? Oh, dearie me. Is that why we saw these little jumps? So is it? Rocky, you could probably find a link if the at the market offering has ended. Happy birthday, Daniel. Everybody should say happy birthday to Daniel in chat. He's a really nice guy, and I'm sure he'd absolutely love to hear it. Happy birthday to you, etc. Oh, look at all these nice targets. I was wondering if there was some news about that the market offering had been completed, and if so, then Ryan Cohen announcing it might have likely been via the Gamestop. Would have probably released a press release. Tradespotting, are you talking? We can't hear you. No, sorry, Bavash, I'm not talking. I shall be getting onto it in a second, though. And I expect some of you haven't noticed the new products that are yet on, have just arrived on Unreasonable.shop. You should definitely check them out on Unreasonable.shop. I'll be with you in 5 minutes. In the meantime, there's some TA. If you didn't understand, feel free to scroll back. You didn't need my voice to tell you what I've already told you a billion times. But I'm going to do it in a few minutes. Danya! Wow! Danya! Danya kicking things off with that. A huge donation. Danya Ward, thank you very much, Danya. You're very generous, and that's very much appreciated, and that will speed me up, right? Give me another 2 minutes. I'm sorry, like literally it's only 2 minutes now. And yes, the volume works. I'm just not talking much. Tim Tiernan. Mr. Tiernan. Thank you very much, Mr. Tiernan. Morning, what's your price target for GME? As the floors keep rising, I'm worried people and me are going to end up bag holding. Much love. Well, isn't that a big question, Tim? I'll certainly do my best to answer where I think the range of the squeeze will go to, if you like. After I do a quick shot of the TA, I'll get round to doing that sort of give you some idea where I think like absolute minimums and obvious targets are on the way up that will pass. I think that are to be expected. With regards to where I think the actual floor will be, there's no real point in me doing that, to be honest, Tim. There'll be few. I would say there are hazard to say that there are probably fewer people better to ask than me, perhaps in the entire world at this stage. But as I would go, but based on the fact that everybody who I worked with and who I know who do this for a living who disagreed with me now ask me the same question you did, and they've done the job, some of them, for a decade. So I reckon I'm a good person to answer, but I'll tell you, like, straight up, the answer is the same answer I give them, is that I can see 2,450. It's been screaming at me for a best part of a month and a half. Everybody who watches the channel knows that I think 2,450 is a short to medium term target, regardless of any sort of a squeeze. The charts are screaming it at me. As regards to what, like, the guy on the back of the bus, right? Right, because in what is the average person's opinion? It's so very hard to define, and it is the same thing that constitutes what is reasonable, right? And in a court of law, how do you define that which is reasonable? Well, you go on what the guy at the back of the bus would give you an answer for something. Whatever he says is probably reasonable. And then you'd come to an answer. But I don't think this is a question of being reasonable anymore. So you could ask the guy at the back of the bus and he might tell you 64,500. And then he might, meet him on a good day and he might multiply that by a factor of whatever it is that he feels justifies some sort of sum, and he gives them some sort of rationale for his inherent reasonableness. But the truth is that it's up to the apes where we set our floor, and so what can we do? Well, we can't control other people, just like we won't let anyone else control us. So you pick your own target, and if you're don't want to be a bag holder of what is likely to become the biggest company in the world, then and you're looking for paper-handed targets, then the truth is, like, you'll be unlikely to get the top anyway. You know, because the people who ultimately get the top are reluctant sellers, not people who plan to do it. The best technical analysis in the world will only get you something like 80% of the move. So, in terms of making predictions, so to answer Tim, you want to be looking. You don't want to worry, right? Somebody has framed the concepts and the psychology you're operating from. And so you ask questions that are coming from that perspective, and you think of things like bag holding, and like, I agree with what you're saying, but it represents there's like an inherent distrust among your fellow apes and what their prices they're going to go for and so on. All of that I empathise and understand where you're coming from. So it's like a perspective of what you'll be happy with, Tim. Like, and it's your choice, it's your risk, it's your life, and nobody can tell you what to do with it. So that's all up to you. But I wouldn't. I would try and frame, if I was you, I'd try and frame my thoughts instead of bag holding, but on like the investment potential and the fair value of this company, which has just added over another $1 billion, like, and it did it in a couple of days, effectively, in terms of actual market operations. And it could do it like a number more times with shares that it owns in its own treasury, and not really do any dilution to individual shares that are over. Hi, brother. Bio G on me. GME on me. Bing bong. Fucking hell. Oh my god. Wow. Bang. Is that the biggest donation I've ever had? Possibly. It's right up there. Holy shit. Bad Mama Jamma. Well, I'll fucking will buy that another GME on. That's incredible. Thanks, Bad Mama Jamma. Fuck yeah. So good, brother. Thank you so much. So that's your answer, Tim, right? It's up to you, man. It's up to you where your floor is, and I can't tell anyone else how to trade. Other than I can tell you where the prices will be going as and when it happens, like, and that right now is a bargain, and that, like, if you got it yesterday it was below 200, it's like hilarious. Anyway, it's fucking high fucking five to everybody who bought yesterday. You fucking legends, you heroes, you fucking doomslayers. GME raised 1.1 billion. Ha 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 ha. Hedges crapping pants. Also, did you read about a hedge fund just went under from shorting their GME? Check it out, Source Financial Times. Yeah, I did hear about that. They're a British-based hedge fund, aren't they? I think you're right there about that. And you know, the British-based private equity firms, let's call them, they're the worst in the fucking world. V-Bardos, I see you. Right, okay, so fucking hell, like, this credible. Thanks so much, Dania. Thanks so much, Bad Mama Jamma. Thanks so much, Max. Thanks, absolutely. Thanks so much, Tim. I hope that answer was some help to you. It's only my own thoughts, of course, and your own will be your own. So, like, that's that, yeah. And the Absolute Money share market has been completed. So, like, that's a testament to the good work that I saw people like Tony Picus, Luke Spears, Daniel Assange. These are people who are doing, you know, putting people's minds at rest, telling them it's all okay. You know, they've probably already done a share, or like, it's probably already sold, and keeping people's minds at rest and helping people deal with what is stupid FUD out there. So well done, all of you guys, and that testament to yous for putting everybody else's mind at to rest, and helping people really effectively by, like, making them feel better about things, which was necessary, because the people that were painting these sort of things on the charts were deliberately trying to make people feel bad. So hats off to the community. Congratulations, everybody. Well done. Alright, so that's that share money at the market offering complete. Fuck yeah. So what do we expect to see in price? Like, well, people were putting in targets there. Last time it happened, what was the price? It was over 20% at one point in the day. Where did it finish? I love you in a way, D. Harker. I love you back, D. Harker. I love all you guys. Griffin's there. I love you too. I love you guys. I love all of you. Super Cashy. You guys are amazing. All yous. And D. Harker sent me a picture of him in his t-shirt, which is yet the only one I've got. I got it on Instagram. It's the only picture I've seen of the t-shirt. And mine haven't arrived because they get shipped. When I did it, I ordered them and they got shipped from America, which is like kind of annoying, to put it one way, because they do ship from Europe. But for whatever I've done with the shop and set up and being the person that's running it, they've managed to ship it from America. So I've not even seen mine, and I've only seen D's. So if anyone else wants to send me one, your Jamie bank account look like a phone number. Whoop whoop. Mine doesn't. No, mine doesn't. I'm more on that. Like, if you owe the bank like a couple of $100,000, it's your problem. If you owe them millions and millions, it's their problem. I'm kind of more going from that side of the rich poor divide than anyway, yeah, so like any Ferrari I'll be buying myself will be a little hotbox one. Your audio is perfect today. I can actually listen to you while working now. Thanks so much, Austin Socks, and I'll try not to swear anymore. And a summer day, put in a picture. Oh, there we go with a hiccup. Bummer day. Bummer day? Summer day. $1.49. What a lovely little picture of a beach and a little sombrero and the waves. That's us at Valadero when this is all over. Anyway, this is me reading chat when I should have just been doing the things I said I was going to do. Shipping is totally unreasonable. You're fucking telling me, Eric. Some of the shit on there is incredibly unreasonable. Doubled your position. Yes, Zeps. Congratulations. That's a big step. Congratulations, Zeps. Bitcoin just touched 28k. Well, I said a month and a half ago it's going to 25. I told everybody loud and clear. Said it a number of times. I hope everybody heard it. And I've even repeated it probably every fucking second day since, so... There is this and there is that and whatever and what have you and what not. And sure, we saw some bullish divergence and there was a little bit of a move up the way, and that's why I wasn't shorting it after it went to 32. And I even took a tiny little bit of a long, which I closed as the fucking bearish divergence took over. And it was so obvious this is happening, and the amount of FUD out there in Bitcoin land's crazy, and there's going to be some incredible bargains. So if you want to look at those things, we can take a little bit of look. There's like incredible bloodbath going in alt land, and some of these alts are fantastic, and the FUD on the internet from all the new arrivals into the market over the past 3 months that never bothered doing their research and now are looking it up and getting caught up in all the old incorrect news that was put out to trick people years ago, and it's all coming back. Silly people. And but you know, best time to buy and whatnot. Love a bargain, me. Love a bargain, so I do. In other news, Coco is back. And she's in the cupboard, which she was yapping to get into for some reason. Now she won't come out of. Leslie, right, I couldn't buy this dip. I had to book a Disney trip. Wow. If anybody thinks it's too loud, they can turn it down. Yeah, excellent. Well, that's exactly the way you want it. There's a volume control there, so that's perfect. And you can only turn it up so much. That's the problem. That's the problem. When Coco is back. Coco always comes back for the moves. Remember Coco called 217 when the prices were at 151, and I was asking everyone where prices are going, and Coco walked on the keyboard and typed in 217, got the text box up and everything, managed to somehow do it all on her own. And then we said, okay, well, we'll just go with that, and then that's where the prices went. So it's not me, it's my mouse and keyboard. Coco went to Narnia. So the funny, isn't it, the chats that everybody has about what they're going to do after the MOAS, and so much of us talked about from when prices were going up easy, you know, and I was hoping to manage people's expectations. We were talking about how all the things we were going to do, right, like for our communities and so on, and then prices get knocked back down a bit, and we talk about how we're going to also, like, well, well, I will be doing something for myself too, like, and do we all think about things we want? Maybe it's a car, maybe it's a, something we want for ourselves, as well as all the things we wanted to do for our families and our communities and so on, which, depending on where the price goes to, eventually lots of us will end up doing. And then others, like myself, prefer to, like, focus on the idea of holding it throughout, for the duration, right? We like to think of it as our company, not just because we want to, like, communicate to everybody the extent of the price manipulation that's going on. But as further than that, we really would like to own big chunks of companies, and many of us in chat think about it that way, especially the people who consistently tune into this channel. Anyway, so that's what it's like, and so that's the way it goes, right? So sorry it's taken so long to get on here, and thanks very much for bearing with me. I know you could be anywhere doing anything, so it means a lot. Thanks. Yeah, Eddie's got the right idea. So's Andy, and so's everybody else is saying similar things. Yeah, we don't do FUD here, even if that's, like, seen to be, like, good DD. If it's, like, negative implications for another stock, then we don't try not to focus on it, right? Because the way that it works in investments is nobody's going to buy GME because AMC doesn't look good, or vice versa, right? When we make investment decisions, they tend to be slightly more focused than that. So and the chances are that people aren't going to get to that even question in their head. They're just going to look at the prices of things and buy stuff. And so if it so happens that people buy one rather than the other, then that's fine, and that's all cool, and it'll only cause, like, division and conflict if we are to talk down to the other one. So what we like to do is to say that there's strong links between them, and the strongest of which is the market participants, which is, like, all of us really. Let's be frank, like, nearly all of us bought some of both, right? Regardless if one is actually some sneaky play or whatever. Anyway. The old tribalism things, like, so very 1800s. So, right, pardon me. Bum 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 bum. King Jamie the First. I should get that intro up from King Andy, King Ape Andy. Where is that actually? Well, it's a bit long now, and I have actually already had a half an hour entry from half an hour, nearly on the buzzer, right? So I mean, the pros and cons, right? Cons are, sorry, you had to wait. Sorry about that. Pros are, I'll be able to just put adverts there when I put this live for the temporary amount of time that this video is monetized. And when it is, nobody will actually have to watch any of that, because it'll be in the starting bit. And if I get chapters, me or Case Guy, who does it sometimes, legend, then all the better. All the better for you. There we go. I like to hide that lampshade because it does look like a pair of pants hanging from the ceiling, I think. Right. No, not financial advice, right? Top right there, not financial advice. I don't know, is it top left? Whatever. It's up there. It's up there on the moon. It's not financial advice, right? So anything I say that's taken that way, you're just forgetting that at the end of all of my sentences is a question mark, right? You just can't hear it, but there is. And people say, like, oh yeah, but you can't get away with it because, right? Well, actually, I'm in the UK, so I can get away with it. Not that I get away with it. It's just like that's not a rule over here. So, but I try to be ethical, right? So, like, the truth is, don't take trades because of stuff I say, that would be stupid, right? And if you don't know what I'm saying there, I'm saying if you're going to try and copy me, then you're stupid. There in the middle there's a link where you can get less stupid, right? It's my chart that I use all the time. You can use it and you can make your own chart, right, and stuff, and you can copy what I'm doing in terms of technical analysis, then make your own decisions. And then on the other side that is treasure hunt, and if you want to catch up with that, it's 10 grand. It's open to everybody. You don't have to pay anything to win it, and there's people who have done a lot of work ahead of you, so you can catch up with everybody dead easy by going to Reddit/r/Tradespotting. There's flair put on the treasure hunt posts, so you can easily see what everybody else has been saying and catch up with it. And if you see other posts that are on there, please add the treasure hunt flair if that's the right one. And then on the left of that, you'll see Unreasonable.shop, which may or may not have some of its products linked below this video, so you could buy them while still watching, which is quite reasonable already, considering what I'm going for with that shop. And you'll see in the link in the top here, I've got pinned a fanny pack, probably the greatest fanny pack that's ever been made, and that's the truth. Everybody knows it as soon as they look at it. There's also a poster on there. Now that poster costs $100,000, right? And now I'm absolutely fucking sick of the what no one's talking about yet, but like they will be, because it's like revolting, vulgar, and makes me feel nauseous, is this concept of like how NFTs are freeing art, right? It's not, right? It's just like one way of commoditizing it in a sort of stricter fashion, which is kind of destroying what I feel to be a lot of the humanity in art, right? It's like, anyway, I'm not going to go into it, but like I find the whole thing to be quite vulgar. I think it's taken on a disgusting perspective. And so here's a new kind of art, right? It's really fucking unreasonable. It's really fucking expensive. I can print as many of them as I fucking feel like and sell them to as many people as I fucking choose. And it's as expensive as fuck. It's so expensive. There's literally shit all digital license with regards to how I distribute it, or helping feed money through a chain. It's what it is. It's actual art, right? Now, you can look at that picture and you can say, this is beautiful. Or you can look at it and say, this is truth, right? And that's what I think when I fucking look at it. And the truth is, it's worth every fucking penny in the world just to get your hands on one of them. And I'm selling it for 100 grand. And that's an absolute fucking bargain. It makes me want to throw up, even the idea that I am putting it that fucking low. It's vulgar, exactly. It's disgusting. And it's Unreasonable.shop, right? So that's there, and that supports this channel, right? And thanks for everybody who contributed and supports the channel. You're all really appreciated. Thanks to all the new members. Thanks to Bad Mama Jama and Danya, Max, and Tim. Right? Excellent. Now we can get into the technical analysis. Now that we've covered the important stuff, right? Which is frankly, that was important. Like that, and I know it sounds like a joke, but I mean it so much. And all the adjectives I chose carefully. So we're in this channel right now. Channels don't have measured moves, if that's what you were hoping for. But you can generally take it to be that one channel tends to turn into another channel, or a wedge, right? This is what happens. And wedges turn into channels, and channels turn into wedges. And price finds the path of least resistance. Within this move, you can see that we didn't put any bullishness or bearish divergence throughout any of it. Perhaps there was a touch of it here, in that the oscillator was higher but prices were lower, but in the context of a downtrend, and with convergence on the lows, there was nothing to push us beyond the top of this formation. And then we came back down, and we came into these areas that we predicted, right? And you can look that up because I also wrote it down beforehand on Reddit, which I didn't get around to doing today, right? Because I had an unexpected visitor, and I was up till like 4 a.m. talking to freaking businessmen in Asia and stuff, and like, I was really tired, and then I had to get up early for an unexpected visitor, and then I had to go and collect cocoa, so that's how shit went. And that's that. So cocoa is back, and I love it, right? So what was I talking about that for? Oh, it's because I was so busy, so I didn't get to write the TA write up. But also on the other hand, like, I don't know if it adds much, right? I really don't know. People are like, thanks, and this helps, and so on. But it was like a weekly write-up anyway, and it covers everything that's going to happen. So I didn't necessarily need to go in again today in that. But like, obviously, people think, they like appreciate the freshness and whatnot. So I could have gone in and written like the same thing with different words. But like, I didn't think there was a priority. And isn't it great news that fucking share offering, right? So like previously when this happened, prices went up shitloads. Let's look back at that. What day was it? I can't remember. I'm guessing it was the 21st of May, but loads of shit happened. What was this? 11th, 19th, 21st. I don't know. Was it in and around here? This is Bing Bong, so whatever. It's all similar deal, right? And talking about Bing Bong and historical volatility and whatnot. What did I tell you yesterday about all this? Anyway, what did we talk about yesterday is the truth, because like we've all, like, I talk sometimes like I'm speaking to somebody who isn't really there, but I'm not speaking to you guys, and yous were there, and yous are always there, and we've all been calling this for fucking ages, and we know that Bing Bong the price is wrong, we know this is bullshit, we know the amount of volume off exchange is crazy, and I think that Ryan Cohen is an absolute fucking legend in so many ways, right? In so many ways that people will never recognize, talk about the subtle operations of a stock operator operating correctly. It's amazing. Like, even down to the fact that he announces that the at the market offering has been completed ahead of the market opening as opposed to just after the market is closed, so that the people who benefit from the price rise are us, rather than those people who can operate off exchange in illiquid markets at times that you've not got access to trade. Like, that he does that, right, will probably never be mentioned, but he does it for us, right? And he could have easily done it the other way and made the money himself, right? Now, I'm not saying he didn't make the money himself in other ways, but he could have made more. Anyway, it's also he's like fair, right? He lets the market dictate what's going on rather than fuck around with shit a lot. And it's an example of a lot of different CEOs. Whatever he goes on to do, some of the stuff he's done so far is like brilliant for us, and should be fucking taken on board by future CEOs, right? So we're looking at this thing and we're thinking, well, there isn't measure moves necessarily, but you do generally, like, people do look at these things looking for one, and they look for the first touch on the bottom and they take it to the first touch of the top. And if we say that's something around that sort of a move, and then take it up to the top where we would break out if that was happening here, or down at the bottom if we break out if that was happening down here, it's this equivalent, right? And one's red and one's green, but they're both the same length. They may look different because it's a log chart, but trust me, I put them right next to each other and they should be the same fucking size. Look at that, they're not. They should be. This one's probably right. Oops. Good to check this though. Ah, it's too hard on this zoom level. Oops. Ooh, right. Which one's going? That one. Because we're in it up. I'll keep this off there, and we don't even need the bottom one, right? So this is the sort of thing that people will be looking at, that sort of range. But like I say, that there is no reliable nature to any move you'd expect to see off this, right? And if we're looking for where the prices might go today, and confirm like what this sort of trend is, and look back at it on the charts and see where the strength of it might go to. Let's start actually on the daily then. Actually, let's do this properly. Start on the daily, similar sort of formation, even though the candles are completely different. I haven't noticed what's going on in chat there. If I move this over, I could read it at the same time. Changing the channel. Yeah, exactly. Oh, Sugar's. Sugar's now got the wrong thing up. This is this, that's that. Jimmy, you look different. Did you sleep? Ran out of dextro. Dextro. Sounds like some sort of sugar. No, I didn't sleep well. Oh, I was up till dead late working and then up early with unexpected stuff. Right, so. And then I did have a little break before this started though, but that just delayed me. Anyway, what did I get from... Why am I talking about that? I don't need all these programs open. Buy that. T-shirt. Buy that. Buy this. Right, so I'm back. 610 people, thanks for sticking with me. F for Warlock. Warlock can't be gone, is he? Warlock's... What's up, Warlock? What is up, Warlock? F to pay respects for Warlock. Right, so you're looking at the daily chart and you're saying, well, it's more or less the same formation, right? It's all the same deal, like it's all within this stupid boring ass price action. We're back up around the 221 spot 84, and that's prices are pushing on up, right? This candle on the daily opened up at the top of this one here. This is, if this was at the top of formation, it'd be a shooting star and we'd go fucking crazy. But the other hand, what else? Well, like this will quickly, like this is this is good, right? If this daily candle does that, it opens and closes above here, which it's going to, and this is so bullish. It's like a get the fuck out of the way candlestick pattern on the daily time frame. It's going to turn into a huge hammer. It's opening at the most ideal place. It's going to put in a bullish engulfing. Probably this will be bullish engulfing, right, over all of this. And why? Because like even our projected shit-ass move takes us up like potentially to 266, right? There is an area of resistance at 243 before us. And like who you know, that would be like a good 20%, right? That's their 20% move, right? We got off. We didn't look at that, but like we talked earlier about might be a big 20% move. So then you'd be thinking maybe 243 is enough, right? That's even quite greedy, to be honest. If you finish somewhere around here, you're putting in an amazing daily candle. That price action in terms of a percentage move and that reaction to this and touching the bottom of that channel. And there's the daily, and you're looking at the daily RSI, and you see this is like bullish, right? Because it's a higher low on the RSI, which is what it's going to be, because we're going to close above the 236 on this fib that took that down here. Where is that? Where would I draw that from? So like 222, right? That's your 236. So we close above there. Prices will then shoot up to 276. Will that all happen in one day? Like that's so much, you know. There's so much to ask for. The range on that candle is an awful lot. You could just wait till tomorrow and do it over 2 days. You know, this is a springboard type of candle in itself. It's a hammer, and it suggests something else is coming. It might end up being like 3 white soldiers or something, and take like till the end of the week then. Wouldn't that be nice if it did, right? By the end of the week, finish up in around like between 280, somewhere around there, like 277 to like 285, some sort of close around there on Friday. So, and where would we need to get there to do that? Well, we'd only need to close above 222 today. Not even really. Truth, like it's just below that. Maybe it is that. Maybe it's all the twos. And that would be excellent, but we've still got this potential to go up here further, and also to retest the middle of this, the basis line of our Donchian channels on the daily time frame. What happened there? You bought a fanny pack. All right, yes, that's the first one. It's gone. Did you buy the green one? It's really nice. It's quite a nice one. I like it myself. Fuck yeah. Whoever bought this fanny pack, congratulations. I think there is a little bit at the bottom where you can type in like a message onto the alert so that it would come up there. I'd be able to read it. I'm not sure. Somebody else, feel free to buy one and then see if it comes up. Thanks so much for buying that and supporting the channel, and I hope that you appreciate it. You can fit, like, depending on the banana, you can fit between 4 and 7 of them in there. I was assured of this personally by the people who make them, that you can fit between 4 and 7 bananas in there. I wanted to say 7. They couldn't confidently agree to that, but they said it'll definitely be at least 4 bananas fit in there. So if you report back to me, then I'll be able to report back to everybody else. Thanks so much. I'm getting one myself. I'm going to get loads of things, but I only put them on yesterday, so you're like getting them fresh off the press. That's a fanny pack that's freshly pressed. Congratulations. 2265. And what was that? That was the thing that came up. Never present, subscribe, very dusty, subscribe, summer days. And then who bought the fanny pack? Haha. Everybody's getting them, Johnny Satsuma. You've not got yours yet. The fanny pack is too cheap. It is too cheap. There's a couple of things on there that are too cheap, right? There's also a new, there's 3 new t-shirts from Harriet Jones, who designed the Bing Bong t-shirt, right? It's fucking quality. That t-shirt is literally fucking the best t-shirt you can get in the world at the minute right now. It's that Bing Bong t-shirt. I love it right now. I'm not pushing it because I want people to buy it. I'm talking about how good Harriet's work is. And she's got, it was me that bought the fanny. Yes, Baba Pajama. That'll suit your out golfing, mate. That'll be when we're playing golf with the footballs and getting hammered here in Scotland. That'll come in handy. Awesome, mate. Fuck yeah. Thanks so much. And what was I talking about before? Oh yeah, Harriet Jones has designed 3 new t-shirts. Hear no FUD, see no FUD, speak no FUD. From the old Japanese proverb. And it's got our favourite ape again featured on it there, so check that out. See them. They're awesome. Does these look like a fanny to you? Lol. I don't know. Let's see what you look like when you've got it on there, Bad Mama Jama. It's weighing its way to you already, I suspect. Harriet Jones, Prime Minister. Yep, one day Harriet Jones may well be the Prime Minister. Bad Mama Jama, I'll rock it the next golf outing. Sweet. That is so good. Make sure you send me a wee video then. Cheers, man. Did anyone get their pre-order t-shirts? No, nobody did yet, Christy Bondari. Nobody got those yet. There will be though going soon. I have to fucking do it now. I just didn't want to go. If I try to check my order from the email link, it gives me a 404. Ah yeah, that's how unreasonable it is. I even closed the Shopify so that nobody else could buy that t-shirt. That's how it goes, right? Christy, nobody else can get it, so you and the few other people are the few that will get it, unless I do another release of it, which I'm not planning to anytime soon. And so yeah, it's like really unreasonable, but I can assure you that all of them will be posted this week. I can't. The problem is that I've got a lot of the details, but most of it was saved on Twitter, and I can't get into my Twitter account because it's been suspended, so I can't check my messages, so I can't say like for sure, as I would have hoped to do, that I'm sending the right sizes. So I mean, if you want, right, you can email me. There's an email link at the top of my channel. When you click on the banner, there's a wee email that you can get in contact with me, and you can send me the details of what you ordered. If you can, you put in your order number. That'll make it easy for me. It'll probably work it out. But if you can put in your order number and your sizes, then I can do it like that way. But until I get my Twitter account back, which will be like 10 days or something from when I started the stupid fucking appeal. I can't do anything until then, so I was hoping to check that stuff before posting them. Christy. So there's like the best amount of customer service I've ever put in. And it's in response to what might be a disappointed customer. Which is, this is how it goes at Unreasonable Shop. You do not expect satisfaction. Jamie, if you somehow got a chance to be Prime Minister, would you take it? Prime Minister? Well, in Scotland, it's more likely I'd be the First Minister. Seems stupid, doesn't it? I'd be. Would I take it? Yeah, not only would I take it, like out of fucking pissed offness when Scotland and were taken out of the EU, I like tried to start a crowdfunding campaign to go to be like elected an EU MP, even though we were getting taken out of it, and I'd only have had 3 months in the job. And I got some donations, but not enough to do the deposit for running for the election. So I thought, well, fuck it. It was only a little bit of like it was an ironic rebellion at the time anyway. So yes, alright, thank you Jamie, makes sense now. Everything gotta be unreasonable. Thanks Christy, thanks for your understanding. Essentially that's what it is. Bad Man Pajama, next golf outing, Tradespotting tea and a fanny pack. Yes, you got the Tradespotting 2 and the fanny pack. That's going to be awesome. Also, I don't know when your next golf outing is, Batman Pajama, but if it's in like a couple of weeks from now, you might be dancing around that fucking golf course. No, if not that Prime Minister, you see how grey they go. I mean, I'll do things that make the world better. Like, if it's an absolutely stupid job, then I wouldn't do it, and I don't know what the Prime Minister's ship would be like by the time I got anywhere close to that level of society. And things would have to be completely and utterly fucked. If there's ever a reality or a world in which it's not the most absurd thing you've ever heard to suggest that, what a nice t-shirt. See, look, especially even listen to my sentences, they're so ridiculous. There's that. Dominic, yo, that is such a nice t-shirt. I've not sold a pink one yet, so you're the first, and the only, as it happens at the minute, to have one. I think, if that's correct. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah, so if you ever find yourself in a world where I'm seriously being considered by anybody for any sort of a role like that, then things will be fucking terrible, and things will be terrible. And the chances are, like, I'm not a leader, right? I'm a leader of my own fucking self, and that's as far as I'll ever extend my responsibility. Like, it will never ever go further than like my tips of my fingers. Once it's beyond that, there is nothing I am a leader of this, anything else ever, future or anything, right? Other than like my own responsibilities, those commitments I make, and that. And if that's a business, of course, I understand what that means. But if it's a family, it's the same. In essence, it's exactly the same thing. But with regards to the cause or leading other people to do this sorts of thing, like, that's not my job, right? And if I was nominated, I'd step aside. If I was elected, I'd resign. I'm no one's leader. And if ever anyone's asking me for be the leader, then shit is fucked up, right? So, simulation confirmed. Harriet Jones, boom, boom, boom. There she is, the legend, the queen, the designer of from what land do they send designers from that are really good at shit? Who knows? Who knows where she's from? Probably outer space. And so there's 3 new t-shirts on there. Check them out from Harriet. They're fucking awesome. And if you're wearing Harriet's design, congratulations. That's nice. Seeing it all over the world there, Harriet. It's brilliant, as all of your stuff should be. And some is. Dodge, down to 0.17. It's almost time, lol, says failure to deliver. It's almost time. It's a bloodbath out there. Yeah, GME 221 spot 50. So this may be what we see today, right? Little bits of that. The news filters through, right? There will be a news reaction over and above what everyone bought at open. Like, that was everyone that bought open. Then they went off and they're like, fuck, I have to go back to this shitty job. I've got to back to this shitty job. Fucking late already, because they're waiting till markets open. And they're like, come on to fuck in the car park and that. And they're like, I'm supposed to be in there an hour ago. And then markets open and they fucking buy. And they're like, yeah, fuck you, phone. And they get out, go to their fucking job, do their shit and that. And they're like, not even looking at the price right now, and they're hoping, where do we go to, and that. And so we know what the prices need to do. Like, we're going to finish above all the 2s, 222, spot 22. That's what we'd like, and then we can look to what's going to happen next in price action. And why do we say that, right? Because when you've put in an open and a close, right? So like, we even after tomorrow, perhaps, where you're able to look back and say definitively this is the case. But I mean, we were talking about it all around here, so it's not like it's skin off our nose to talk about potential, right? And you know, some of these people, they take some profit off the table at that point. You know, people do X, Y, and Z. The volatility that people were taking in the options market, you know, they're like, well, they're doing that trade. You know, well, some of them trades are only open 15 minutes. Totally understand where those people are coming from, but they're paper-handed. They're making the wrong decision. They could be doing that in other things. Mind you, there is a bloodbath out there, so maybe they couldn't be doing it in other things. Blessed are the cheese makers, says Rocky Outcrop. Yo, damn right. Cheese. So these are all buys right now. If you're thinking like, oh, boo, it was there at 200, it was under 200 yesterday. I want it under 200 now. It's like, sorry, later. Like, see you later, mate. That's not happening. Like that's not happening. I don't think market participants are going to give up this idea of an open close that's like out with yesterday's open body close range. Like, I don't think we're going to give that up. I think if you get back, because I know how this candle right works. Right, it's dead obvious. This is fucking, people have traded this for since fucking charts began. Right. What they do here is the entry signal is like 21764. That's the buy, right? When this is like something like this is happening, you either buy at open, right? When this has all happened, if you can see, if you've got your whatever, right, you can see in extraneous hours what was a little bit of what was going on, and then if you miss it, you buy on the retest, right? And so if it comes to that, it'll be bought up to fuck again, right? Which is whatever we said, 217 spot something. So like in and around there is where people that like were like, oh my god, you're saying there was that it's completed, huh? Because I was thinking I'll just wait until it's completed, right? Well, that's now, it's completed. And that, and the shares you're buying now, there's like even less available than there was before, and somebody says, oh, you buy them and they're going to, like, then the short interest goes up because the short interest goes down because they're actually loaning them out more out, and so there's more available shares and more available to short, and then they start worrying, and that's like, well, there has to be like, hey, people add them to their funds, and that's the way it goes. It's not a problem. And then the idiots short it get beaten down, and that's how we break through their resistance levels. It's their trades failing that take us through. You know, which people don't even need to buy this thing. I've been saying for ages, we don't even really need to buy this thing beyond certain levels, because once you knock people out, it's like a cascade, right? Before you even get anywhere near the idea of liquidating hedge funds, like there's shitloads of other people will liquidate on the way, like the little cretins that, like, you know, think they're God's gift because they like took a short that was, like, from an options point of view reasonably obvious, but in terms of the amount of move you've got on like spot, it's all still perfectly bullish. And they did it with some perspective that, like, they know better in their heart how to trade than other people and that, and then they get this like false sense of confidence from taking that trade, and then they fucking lose it all, right? They'll just lose it all carrying along with the same thesis, even though the chart said like that move is going to happen and that it would be bullish and whatever, right? They get carried away. So that happens. Anyway, so we're looking at that. We talked about that channel. We talked about how it was got these support and resistance levels, some of which are drawn across from like where traders brought prices to a close before, right? Like in and around here. This was like support at the time from that dip on this rise up. And so we'd expect that to be resistance, and that comes in at around like 244 or something, but just below that's 382 on the return up here of this Fibonacci, which we are using to define a low, right? Prices open and close above the 236 on it, then you can see that perhaps prices are in a retracement, and we'll see measure the strength of it as things continue. So that's what we're looking for to happen. And there's a bloodbath out there and lots of other things, and so we'll see how things go. Never any guarantees, but when we're talking about it, let's talk about it. So like you've got the 382, it's also coming in at this level of, why is that there? It's also here, right, where prices caught the bids all the way across, and where traders brought that to a close yet. And then below it we've got the 236, and we've got the high in this formation that we're currently still in at the minute. And, you know, those are the immediate levels to break. Open and closing above the 236 is one thing. We've got then this level where we don't need all of them, it's a zone anyway, but like so like to 236, and then you've got up at 227. Above the 236 is a Fibonacci point, so if you're listening and not watching, right, it's the 0.236. It's a percentage retracement, and to get there the prices need to be at 222.22. That's $222.22 and for between there and up to a price range of around 228 is a liquid zone where there have been trades before, where there'll be trades again, where algos will be trading, and where there's like levels of obvious resistance that other people will be taking profit from, and like it's natural to expect that there should be a little degree of congestion there, as there already has been. That's what we've just come through or are going through at the minute. And here, this is where we expect prices to catch a bid, right? So, whatever we said, right? I don't think it's going to get down below here. So anything around here is like probably going to be really good bid. Probably tomorrow you'll be thinking, yeah, that was well good. Like, and I've been saying since, well, I don't know how long. Like, I've been saying forever that 220 is like the buy because of this breaking out of this part of this formation and how it's so inevitable what then happens afterwards, right? Even for the people that are bearish that talk about this, see that we've got further to go because of how we broke here. So again, breaking above it is the same sort of significance, and it, like, I'll be glad on a stupid egotistical level because it validates my TA, but on a positive level out there, like, I'll be happy because that validation, like, means a huge difference to so many people's lives that, like, not take decisions because I say, but they're doing this similar sort of stuff, right? So this move, the 236, so you're looking at those prices between 222 and 228, and then you're looking up then at like the 247 to 244 to 247, right? These are all zones, but it's like $5 give and take 225, right? Then $5 give or take $5 at 242, and then same situation around 266. Kala. You got a bing bong there. It's a dark one, yeah. Whoop. Took liberties by putting that on a dark version on there. Put Harriet just in across and say go for it. So you got this spectacular t-shirt. I fucking love it, eh? Totally love it. I was actually trying to arrange a photo shoot with well, if possible, like with models and whatnot, and get it like some sort of like really good shit on the go for it, like, which would be ironic again, just because like I'm lucky that I know some really cool ass people and might be able to arrange something cool and make them like really get some get them looking like, get, you know, proper fucking, give it a good American shake, right, as they say in marketing. And do something serious with these things, because the truth is they're fucking cool quality designs and that, so like, why not, right? Also, this is a fucking, I know what's up. What was up? I was looking at prices and I was talking about look, could this be like so many cool ass. I did all this on the daily time frame, right? So you know that I'm talking about reliable targets, so over like conservative amounts of time, nothing too fucking crazy, and going off what would be just like a good daily candle, right? That'd be really good. But also like, there's a big touch of bullish divergence with the fact that these lows here on price action, well, maybe not over this whole piece, right? But like, certainly with like the touches down in and around here, right? All of this sort of thing. It's very positive that price action is above that level or below these levels, but the RSI is still lower, so that's not really it either, you know. There isn't really anything to be said about that desperately. Not really. Obviously it's got like positive relationship, but it's just convergent. Whoops. Hi, so that's essentially what I'm saying. Like, you might think the prices on Unreasonable.shop are unreasonable, and that's true because they are, but they're only going to go up, right? So if you're looking for a fucking sale, that's not the way it works around here, right? It's the same way at GME, right? And it always fucking will be, and I didn't make the world that way, you know. Is the point I'm trying to fucking make here. So yes, so no, I'm a friendly guy. I'm your friend on the internet. Don't think I'm negative, right? So down to the 12 hours, and we'll try and see, is there any divergence? Do we have divergence? Because we do love to throw a little bit of that on. I mean, I'm only going between these two indicators. One of the things that you want to look at, like I've talked about it before about Rocky's DMI, is that is the Rick and Morty ellipse formation, which is going on here. This is classic Rick and Morty ellipse, right? Now, it sounds silly, and I agree it is, but like, if it works and it works and it works again, then what the fuck am I going to do other than say, yeah, man, it works, right? Now, this is the Rick and Morty ellipse. It works, right? When this goes well, prices go up shitloads. When it doesn't go well, like that's not even proper Rick and Morty ellipse, right? That's not really it. So it didn't go well, right? You want to look for the actual Rick and Morty ellipse on this thing. And you know, it sounds stupid. How many people are listening to me right now? 632 people hear me talk about Rick and Morty lips. Well, welcome to the fact, right? If you're surprised by the fact that sometimes there's just shit on the charts, right, that shows you shit and patterns turn into stuff, just because he called it Rick and Morty lips, that was just to make the whole thing illustrative for people, and to my mind it really does work. Like, in a land of Marge calling people, like, Rick and Morty lips is the perfect fucking words to be using, right? So this is putting in Rick and Morty lips formation. It also did it back here, right, on a smaller, like, the price action was like a lot tighter, but did it in around here, this sort of thing, and that was in and around when the HPV was doing like the same thing it was doing Bing Bong time, right? This is all, you know, and so like that talks about like the coming trend, essentially, that talks about like we've defeated the bad guys and shit's going on, and, you know, this could turn out to be so positive. If it fails, it'll be a shitter, right? That's the truth, right? Warren's like, if this all fails, it turns into a shitter, and that I'm just looking back here, but like actually, like that was like something from his Bitcoin days, like those Hey Ceylon days. Oh, the days, those beautiful days, right? 217.07. So this is where I think like is a good buy now. Not that this is financial advice, and I know I say that and it may or may not influence people, but like there was a question mark at the end of it, right? Stefan, where do you look at that data, please? What are you saying, Stefan? There, Luke Spears, lol. What are you laughing at? What's going on? Have I missed something? I need Botox for those lips. Tradespotting, if you can't meme, it's not worth it. Yeah, exactly, right? It's Rocky's meme. It's not mine. I can't claim credit for it. Though I do take a lot of profit using it. And so you're getting like, I was laughing there because I think that the fact that this even went down at all is like is one way that people are like, anyway, whatever. I can't make stupid ass predictions, and I don't know what's happening. I don't wish illness on anyone, so whatever. Tradespotting, can we call the dips Jerry's? A Jerry? A Jerry? A dip a Jerry? Wait. Jerry's? Like, I mean, I think Tom and Jerry's. What Jerry's are you thinking, failure to deliver? Jerry's? Jerry's. Spelt like that, it can only reminds me of Tom and Jerry. I don't know. Tom and Jerry? You can call them what you like, though, failure to deliver, of course. I don't know. What we call what Jerry's. If I understood it, maybe I'd be like jumping on it, but I don't. So Rick and Morty's name came from the Royal Tenenbaums. Great movie. Laughing at you, Tradespotting. Rick and Morty lips formation. Yo, look, this is science. We're just having a bit of fun with it. Trout pout. Ugh. Ugh. I can't tell if the Bill is trolling. If Bill? Who's the Bill? I don't see. Oh, there's Bill. To be fair, you have to have a very high IQ to understand Rick and Morty. The humour is extremely subtle, and without a solid grasp of theoretical physics, most of the jokes go over a typical viewer's head. It's so funny, eh, Bill? I mean, I'm sure you're self-aware. You enjoy Rick and Morty. Half of the jokes are about that sort of thing. How much that is that we as Rick and Morty fans sound like the early Bitcoin advocates. We're like, you don't understand how smart this thing is? No, but honestly, think of the look, listen. Yeah. And it's the same again with GME, right? Like before we decided like fuck it, right? So we're just going to be unreasonable, and we were still caught up in this idea of having to rationally explain away other people's irrational behavior, which is like a fucking dead end conversation. Even with a rational person, you're trapped in the loop just like everybody else is. That's by design. We thought, well, fuck it, we're not going to fall for these tricks. We're going to be deliberately unreasonable, and then see how it fucking works. See how your tricks work. See how your FUD works when we are unreasonable. We are inherently irrational, you know. And go fuck yourself, by the way, now that we're actually speaking to you, you bastards. Mark Anthony, there he is. How's it going, buddy? Remember back in the day when you called me an asshat? Love you, man. Be well. I do remember, Mark Anthony. It's one of the reasons we're such good friends. Because you said something like, what is this, and what even is this pish? Which was a fair comment at the time, right? Because you were like myself. I might say the same thing in your position. in Mark's position. And I responded was the way I do from the very first time I started making YouTube videos. And I said, Mark, you know that comment makes you look like a total asshat. And from that day on, we've been friends. And that's where I fucking like to make my friends. Thanks, Mark. You're a legend, and the donation's very generous. Cheers, buddy. Frank Tradespotting. Good question. I've got a donation there I didn't read. I have to check that. Quick question here. How is the share offering a good news? Doesn't it help the hedge funds to cover? Thanks. No, it doesn't, Frank, because it was like, what was it? 6% or something? Like, off the top of my head, 5 million shares, 71 million. Or whatever that is, right, between 5 and 6 or 7% or something of and it's not a dilution, right, because those shares, it wasn't a share offering, it wasn't a follow, it wasn't like a follow-on offering, right, or a secondary offering, right. First off, it wasn't a secondary offering, right, then it wasn't a follow-on offering, right, it was an at-the-market offering, which was shares held in the treasury by GameStop because they'd repurchased them in the past, right, so it's not a dilution in that sense. And so that's like that part of the FUD. And then the other part of the worry or anxiety or fear, uncertainty and doubt, right? Not cast in aspersions, but like that's what it is. This anxiety you have is this FUD and that, and like, so I welcome the conversation about it in order that everyone will understand that even in asking is by design, right? Like people hope to put these anxieties in your head, and there are other ways of framing these sorts of questions, but I'll answer this one in the way that you put it there. Does it help them to cover? No, like the 6% doesn't make shit all difference, right? And it does not, nor does it add that, like, so this wasn't one of the reasons why it doesn't help them cover is because it was an at-the-market offering that nobody knew exactly when it was happening, and nobody was able to see, like, because it was at the market, right, you're taking it as the prices are where they suit you, rather than just slapping huge orders on the books that everyone can see. So nobody knew exactly who they were buying what shares off in that sense. So hedge funds weren't able to capture all of those shares, right? Because everybody was free to buy them, right? And I know that lots of people here, including myself, bought at prices all the way up for like a lot of these shares. We were buying them over these days, and I personally think that the share offering was completed maybe days ago, and I've been buying shares as and when possible throughout it. And so, yeah, so short story short, like they're like they fucking shorted the company way more than those 5 million shares, which they themselves didn't get their hand on. There's like a daily trade of float of like 4 or 5 million shares they could have been buying anyway. If that was going to save the day, they would have done it. They can't show their hand so clearly because that means that there's a profit signaling mechanism to the sharks, right? Who just, some of them just look out for that exact thing. So they're in a real tight spot and they can't really do much about it. And when Ryan Cohen's doing at the market share offerings, so they can't get their hands on these things in any way any more easier than anyone else. In fact, even doing so causes a price pressure on the price, so they're fucked anyway, right? Plus they've got like collateral problems, which mean that they're absolutely screwed if they start doubling up on the same positions, so they're absolutely fucked in that sense. You know, they're the last ones that want to start adding buying pressure to the market, and they have to capture those shares because of the way Ryan Cohen did it. And he also didn't allow them to exploit it, and subsequently with like liquidity from the dark pools, having done it like at market close. Instead he did it ahead of market open, so it was like the benefits of that price action can be experienced, and we can take advantage of them. Like anyone who's participating in price action today is able to execute based on news in an equal playing field, rather than that be just like the only place where there was liquid markets, which is after hours, is in dark pools. So then Mark Anthony says, wait, just before that there was another one. Sorry, I need big bong knickers ASAP, lol. Buying the socks now. Yo, Batman Majama, if you buy it all in one lot, you'll get free shipping, and then you can buy stuff for your friends, and then they get shipping free, and then you can like be the reasonable link in the chain. Joe, and I still don't know what we mean by calling dips that. I still think I've got things. Have I missed something? Double check, not missed nothing. Harriet Jones super chatted $4.99. When Andromeda? Whoa, Harriet Jones, the legend. She is the legend again. When Andromeda? Well, we're expecting like this week to be good day, and then up until like mid-July to be like quite positive. That's what the charts are saying. That's what the option chain's saying. That's what the failure to deliver cycle's saying. That's what the new news catalyst is going to prompt us on with from the at the market offering, and we'll go on and talk about the charts too, but they need to put in like that turnaround for me to say, like, I could sit here and probably there people are speculating about higher price targets, but like, what's the point in doing that, right? Because in order to get there, we have to go through these other ones, and like the truth is, a lot of people want to see some real information from someone like myself or someone else. They're waiting for that, or the chart, even where, right? They're relying on themselves, and they're like, well, or the information as they learn to make their own informed decision. And those price targets are actually all around here, you know. When we break these levels I was talking about earlier, then that just means more people will be interested again. Whoops, I moved that, didn't mean to, whatever that is. And so I'm on the wrong thing. So what we're looking at in terms of when Andromeda is like, well, it's a good question, isn't it? Really, you're just saying, like, you're expressing how we want to even go beyond the fucking moon because of what they put us through, and that is the truth, Harriet. And that's what I was going to do too. What else did I miss? Mark Anthony was also saying, please talk to us regarding the dark pools. Can they keep hiding shorts forever in these dark pools? And I'm putting their sell orders on the main market. The dark pools with their sell orders, they acquire them. What are they doing? Can they keep hiding shorts? Hiding in the dark market, putting them for sale in the main market. Yes, I can answer that in a second. And then Batman Jam looking for his knickers. I also would like a pair of those knickers. Fuck yeah. There are bike shorts, but they're not bing bong ones. And there's wraparound leggings. They're what does that mean? The design wraps around leggings. Of course they do. What? But they're not like particularly fantastic. It's all about the fanny pack really at the minute. So I need to get that bing bongs. We need to get those, Harriet, across the board, the bing bong stuff there. It's also the failure to deliver t-shirt. It's up there as well, the first one I got up, which is pretty nifty, and I'm wondering if I'm in danger there of copyrights, but we'll see. Thanks anyway, Grape. Thanks, Grapes. I didn't get Rick and Morty anymore. Affinity took it away because it suck total balls. I can tell you it's all over YouTube. For some reason they keep showing it to me recently. Like, I don't know why. Anyway, maybe that's my region. Who knows? Who knows? Does Ken have to pay for his naked shorts on Friday? Oh, this is what Mark Anthony was asking. What else did I miss here? Never present. Subscribed, but you're here now. That's what's important. And that was 149 from the sticker, so I think I've covered that. Mark Anthony, and then H. Jones, When Andromeda. So like, well, let's see, like, I mean, check in, like, if things are looking really positive, like, if we're above, like, what, 440 come 16th of July, and that, then it'll only be a hop, skip, and a jump, right? Then things will be really getting exciting. But do we make it by there? Well, there's lots of steps along the way, and we'll cover them. In every chapter, we'll talk about all of them. And here, the greatest story ever told about the greatest show we've ever seen. And we're going to answer Mark Anthony. Great, careful there, Jimmy. You can't give away too many treasure hunt hints in one. I can't give away too many hints. We'll stop. Hi there, Tradespotting. How many no, I'm not reading that. I'm not reading that. So I have to answer that question Mark Anthony asked first, which was dark pools, right? Yeah, dark pools. All the banks trade between each other, and all the brokers trade between each other, and they always have done. And there's always been these idea of dark pools. And when Clinton first came into the office, he was like, well, I can see what's coming over the hill, and I don't like that. But then when he was on his way out, he was like, oh, okay, cool. Let's just let all this extra different types of private equity hold this sort of shit, and let's do that above level of regulation. And yeah, let's let all those different types of people in that tax bracket invest in it. Cool. And then fucked off, living. Introduced shitloads of fucking extra risk, derivative risk into the futures market and whatnot, and in combination of that, great dark pools went whoa, like they became by far bigger than any of the activity you'll see on exchanges, right? And then when I say became bigger, it was like they started copying the same systems, the same technology. The whole thing ran like way better technology, right? The technology used in the banks that connects all in, it's like 1980s, right? Like late 1980s is that fucking level of the bottom level of that shit. And when it comes right down to it. Whereas like and the dark pools are all like the same sort of system, probably even better technology, and their brokers and shit trade things between them, and often it's done like for completely different prices that you'd see on a mark to market basis. It's like and you'd wonder why, right? And it's not necessarily representative of the fact that, you know, out there is where the real price is. There's all sorts of different bartering and all sorts of different deals that can be done, and like it's not a question of like, well, this asset with this one on this type of exchange. Often on dark pools you can do all sorts of different obligations. You can all do various versions of like equity default swaps, and which is like a type of credit default swap, but it's like even more fucked. You can do all sorts of shit out there. Thanks. That's my answer. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, looking for those prices around those times, Harriet, which is like, well, I shouldn't have fucking said that's not what I should be doing. And it's not financial advice. So, please still do tune in between now and the 16th of July, though, Harriet and co. Right, so, yeah, so that's the dark pools, right? And like the technology and the liquidity on there is unmatched. Also, to parse through the reasons that things are certain prices is impossible. And people swap shit between them all the time, and often brokers will swap shit in positions, and there will be no record, right? Because it depends where the shares are held, and you know, things can go through, and people can do option trades, and they can all just be designed to fail in order to compensate people for other things, right? This happens all the time. Some of it's perfectly legal, and dark pools are like really difficult to manage, because like how do you stop people trading things they want, right? It's very difficult, especially when there's a cost placed on people at exchange. And so this like fragmentation in the financial system like led to like areas of consolidation in companies that address these business needs, which then consolidated around like the market needs. So now you've got Citadel owning so many of the market makers. So now they like that's themselves. Then they thought, well, we've got this strategic opportunity to use pricing to our advantage and be like this part of the value chain that own this part of the value chain that controls the options market. So that's their place in the dark pool that they're trying to like one of the business needs they think they can service, and so other people don't really fucking want that, like the stagnation in competition and how it gives them control over pricing in certain other ways, including with influence as on the dark pool. So do they hide shorts forever in the dark pools? Well, the dark pools are where they'll hold shares or IOUs. Where they hold shorts is they're open positions, right? These short contracts are open positions, and that most of the ones that they cycle through are like failures to deliver, and then they hide them also in where everyone can see them in the options chain, and they try and roll things through there, and like that hides the failure to deliver number, which like keeps like the total number of shorts hidden just through obfuscation, rather than them being like held off on a dark net in a dark pool somewhere specifically. Like here's where I keep all of my secret shorts. So like you can parse out where a lot of this is, right, and that much of it's like hedged in some way, so like but not to sufficient to help them, so like it only ends up like crushing them in the end. And so like all of these, and it's not even the purposes of hiding it aren't necessarily aren't effort to hedge, it's always so that they can skip and like, so like the dark pools, right, can they hide them in there forever? The question is more like and somebody touched on it yesterday when they were saying about Susan Trimba. Dr. Susan Trimba said that failures to deliver were more important than the naked shorts, and like this is the nature of the debate we're in, right? Everyone frames a question based on their experience, and so then when you're asking any one particular person, they're always trying to answer the way you've asked it, and it's like great because the greater knowledge about how these things work is expanding and getting bigger, but also there's like loads of mistakes in that, and it's like failures to deliver and naked shorts are all like one and of the same thing at the end of the day, right? The naked shorts turns into a failure to deliver at the end of the day, which turns into a failure to receive, and it's that failure to receive that is the trigger, right? Because it's only other members of the DTCC who can force those failures to receive to be closed by forcing other members that are holding these naked shorts, which have turned into failures to deliver, which have turned into failures to receive. That's the effective derivative of that action, is really inherently the failure to receive, right? That's the thing that holds the rights. The failure to deliver is just a debt obligation. It's measured in a mark to market, so i.e. what is this failure to deliver costing this person? Well, it's the current price of that asset, and well, where does that cost get reduced from, right? Well, their total collateral that they supply as part of their position, right? Like that's their margin that's used, and all their risk is based upon, and that collateral is spread between all of their open positions, right? So these failures to receive have got a mark-to-market price, and that's priced at that, which is like the price of the GME at the minute on the market, and that all those total added up failures to receive and like coming down the road failures to deliver, and all of the ones they've hidden in the money option contracts, and like all the other ones that are like fractionally lent out in some way or another that we've ended up buying and turning into IOUs, which themselves will need to be satisfied at some point, and like adding all of this shit up together, like you can see that the trigger may well be that BlackRock or another large entity of the DTCC decides, well, I can see that like your outstanding collateral is like now at risk, and that might not even be them. It might be these new rules that have come in, like 002. It talks about the, I think it says it talks about the more frequent margin checks. And so it could be that sort of thing happens, and people say, well, your liability is too great, and the risk from it is going to cause some blowback on me, and at this point I'm not fucking having it any longer. And then they step in, and the way they would do it would be they'd say, well, we're going to force these shorts to cover. And this is what I say when people say, like, we don't need the shorts to cover, is we don't, right? We can have the DTC computer liquidate them, and that'll, like, is one way of doing it. Or we can have it so that they're forced to cover, and that they themselves are made to go and just hit the buy button and make it happen. And who's going to make them, right? Well, they're not going to do it of their own accord, or they would have done it ages ago. And things get worse and worse and worse when Ryan Cohen raises another $1 billion in liquidity, and people are like, holy crap, what's he going to spend it on now, right? And they're like, well, I know he's going to spend on, because he's like really good CEO. He outlined all his strategic objectives. They all tie in perfectly. The business plan is, it looks like that's what I would have come up with if I was doing it, and looks like the best people in the world are running this company now. They've also got all the Amazon executives. They know exactly what they're doing. They've got the money to do it. I sent you a DM on Discord. Can you explain the support and resistance on the pick I sent? Sure, I'll have a look at it in 2 seconds, buddy. What was it else did I miss there? Okay, I'm not scrolling through that. I need to scroll through the other things. That was that. I didn't miss any other super chats. Okay, well, I probably missed it. A lot of stuff. Mark Anthony, you answer however you want. I hope that was some sort of an answer. Where did I get? I missed the rest of it. So can they keep hiding them forever in dark pools? Yeah, so that's like the end of the answer, really. Like, no, not forever, because after a while they get bigger, and or their collateral gets smaller, and then that puts, like, the implications of that are dangerous for everybody else. And so either it's the market backstop, which is a liquidation, kicks in because their collateral's gone beyond, right? Their margin has been reduced to less than zero, so they get margin called, and then they're not able to chuck in extra margin, which they aren't going to be able to, right? They'll either have to close other positions or take liquidity of other things, which is perhaps what you see when crypto crashes or when other things crashes, is that, like, they're anticipating these sort of things and they're trying to close their positions at the best possible. So who knows, right? Or at least that narrative is running through markets, and that itself can be damaging enough. So, like, can they do it forever? No, they can't do it forever. They can push it and push it and push it, and all that means is, like anything, right? It just makes the pressure worse and worse and worse, because more and more people end up buying it, and then the available float goes down. Like, the true float gets down every day. It goes down every day because we're in mass accumulation periods. So that's the chat. I sent you a DM on Discord. Right, cool. Just check that there. Where's Discord open? Nope. $213.89. So back into that zone underneath the 236 again. What do you mean what's new? Don't care what's new. Bird Mumajima. Right, I'm not showing that on the screen, am I? Right, no. So there's the, can you explain support and resistance? Sometime I'm confused, I've never seen it like this. Support and resistance. What is that? Support line, that red one is coming in. Where is that? 21.1% down, 3% up, 6% up. That's that. I mean, I have to look at that off screen and tell you what it means, because I can't parse through what that weird layout they've got there is. What is that? Is that Fidelity, or what app is that you're using? I mean, I'll have to look at that outside there. Like that, was that a moving average? Why is that moving like that? It can't be, because it's coming from there and going down there, and that's like that. Oh, that maybe that's a closed line, support line, resistance line, support and resistance. Is this regards to open trades, or is this with regards to like this GME? I'll have to look at it in a bit, Bye Bye Majama, and get back to you properly, because I'm not sure what it means there, but I'm sure I could figure it out. But I can't right now. I'm confused right now. So yeah, so I will do that. So sorry, yeah, I'll get back to that. I'll answer you after the stream there, and that direct message to that Bye Bye Majama. It's Webull. Okay, right, cool. I've never used Webull either. I'll look at that. Rensol was on Andrew Mo Money with Pixel. When were they on there? Dan Weldo. When did that happen? He's a news aggregator with no practical knowledge of market mechanics. He's a snowflake. Aye. Stephanus says maybe someone's vastly underestimating how much work takes to be a mod on Superstunk. Rensol does a fuck ton of work. Stefan, Rensol has got no credibility with me at all, right? And anyone who comes along and says anything positive about him is clearly refusing to take on board that he went out of his way to call me an entitled cunt to thousands of people, encouraged people to take my social profiles down with malicious reporting, which has happened to plenty of people he's fallen out with before, and it all happened from some contrivance that he and Red Chess Queen did between them, right? And I don't want to go over this all before, because it's all on the internet there for free. I can't get to my Twitter profile, but just before I got locked out, I put it on there. You can see what happened. You can say I never did anything wrong. I never asked to be a mod on Superstunk. I just offered to help out. And the quote is, that you'll be able to see it, is I said, I'll do anything to help you guys out, even handing out leaflets, right? That's all I said. Then I got attacked for like not for this narrative of whether I wanted to be a mod or not is not mine. It's what they constructed in order to attack me. So anyone who talks about it, you're just furthering their narrative, right? This is just their narrative control. I never wanted to be a mod, nor did I say I was entitled to be one, because I never wanted to be one. So therefore, me to say I was entitled wasn't. And you can look back and see what was. It was already having to defend myself. So like, they created a situation where I was having to defend myself based on this false premise that has to be a mod, and then they took that defense, which was a defense because they were unnecessarily, for absolutely no reason, coming at me, and then they used that and said, well, this is him claiming to be entitled, and then they used that to undermine me, you know. And like, so 595 viewers would have been 895, like 4,000 views would have been 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 views. Twitter profile where I would have been talking about GME and targets and doing help information just to help people, gone, right? Can't do anything with it over what might be the most volatile period in price action in the previous 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks, perhaps, you know. All of that stuff happening for absolutely no reason, you know. And so any conversation about how much work it does or doesn't take to be a modern Superstunk is so irrelevant to the whole situation. It's so irrelevant. And if it took that much time and that much effort, how come they're all out on Twitter doing loads and loads of stuff on Twitter if it took that much work? You know, and I'm a mod on r/Tradespotting, right, where there's 2,300 members. I'll tell you, it's so easy. Times that number by 10, still easy, right? That's literally very easy. On top of that, of course, I was also on Twitter, and I'm in Rocky Outcrop's Discord, and I'm a mod in his channel where he does 6 hours of work a day. plus between the streams and his Discord and all the rest of it. And I'm right there doing it with him, and he's right there doing it with me. Plus I have a full-time job, and I'm a primary carer for somebody, so you can count that as 2 full-time jobs on top of all of that, right? And people tell me that they've got a difficult job, that they're finding it hard, when I also put in hours and hours out here every day. And like when I notice something that I think will make people money is important for apes to know, I get on and do streams that start at 1 o'clock in the middle of the night. Yet somehow this narrative is used against me who is only charitable, right? And look, there's a $10,000 treasure hunt in the top corner, right? Go back through my history of YouTube videos. I've only ever tried to help people, like, right? And you'll never see me asking for money. The only thing you'll ever get me asking for is a Ferrari Aperta, right? And that's like after Moas, if you want to chip in, because I'm not selling my shares. So no matter what value I provide for people here, of which some is literally life-saving, right? Literally, I've got messages about people, how they were contemplating suicide, right? I don't get that value back, and I don't even ask him for it, because I've got a completely different objective, which is to hold some of the biggest company in the world, right? So I won't be cashing in. Like, even if price get up to 19.5 million, you know what I'll do? Sell 1 or 2 fucking shares. That'll be it, right? So, like, and at which point I'll get my own Ferrari Aperta if that happens. And I'll guide everybody through this price action at the same time, live, as much as good as I can. And I'll do it at whatever cost it comes to me personally, or energy, or like fucking time-wise, or what it takes out of my own life. Like, also doing this, I can't run my own business at the same time the way I want to, because I know that I'll get cast with aspersions the minute I launch what is, I think, is going to be a world-changing fucking business. I know that the amount of hate I'll get for doing that in this environment by people who've got only bad interests at heart, like, means that I can't do it right now when I would otherwise would, which literally could be costing me my opportunity of a lifetime, which I've worked at for fucking ages. Anyway, point being, right, I'm out here for you guys, and that, and in that, like, and I don't actually ask for anything, but when people attack me and try to defame me and undermine the work I'm doing, which is to help other people, which I think is like I'm doing because I feel as though I actually can have an impact on the world here, and those people try to make me impotent. Those people try to take away this feeling I have of being able to help people for real, and I did nothing wrong, right? I did nothing wrong at all. Remember, I did nothing wrong. And you add all that up, right? And you'll know why many of the mods at Superstonk don't actually agree with what happened to me. They don't like it, along with thousands and thousands of people who can I be security for this business? Batman Pajama, you can be business. You could definitely do that job, yeah. So yeah, it's like, so like when I read things like, oh well, let's stick up for this or let's stick up for that, it's like, no, right, let's not, like, let's fucking forget about the shit that went on there, right? And although, like, yeah, we do talk about past things that went on, and I am still emotional about these things, and I make no fucking apology for that or anything else, because I did nothing wrong, and he attacked my brother, and he should have a sense of responsibility, right? He should have, to that which he calls his community, and criticizes me for calling my audience, even though he knows perfectly well I mean it from a perspective of responsibility. So like, that's just it, eh? It's just like, it's there for everybody to judge, right? And then a fair-minded person, right? Right? I hope you're a fucking unreasonable. I hope you're unreasonable, but you don't have to be to understand logic. I think any fair-minded person can see everything that happened there, and they can see the moment that he was really, really give away everything about himself is when he said, one paragraph in this one message, one paragraph was, I'm acting like a victim, I'm this, I'm that, and it's all me that started, and it's my fault. And the next one is, but I'll call him, right? I could call him. And then, so that he could then say later, oh, I said I'll call him, oh, it's me trying to sort it, I'm the peacemaker, I'm the one that's trying, I'm set, and like, so he can claim that first glance people who think, oh, he seems reasonable, he seems to put in a reasonable place, so he could garner that side of the audience, because his own ego dictates how he handles things, how other people see him. And look at my responses, Look how I respond. Do I give a fuck? Am I a genuine, authentic person responding there? You read them and see what it is. I tell everybody they're a fanny when they're a fanny. I tell them to read when they've made a mistake. Some of them acknowledge it's their mistake, but only so far as because they know the audience can see that if they don't, they're a massive hypocrite. And yet then again, they take the conversation to a different arena, forget that that ever happened, to absolve themselves of responsibility and start it again and again and again in such a contrived manner. Why? What's the need? And so yeah, that's what happens, right? But like, we're on fucking banana air here and that, and all we're looking for is the prices to go on along up with us. We'll float up higher, we'll get through all that stupid turbulence which is caused by who knows what agenda, right? Who knows what agenda that people have that do that. And I've got messages from people that run other huge GME communities, and they say what happened to you wasn't right, and I've seen it happen to other people, right? There's other people which have got, if you don't even need to trust my credibility, right? And I'm not going to say who these people are, but I imagine that over time, when it doesn't affect them or cost them anything, they'll come out and say it publicly too, that what they did was contrived, that they've seen it before and they know what's going on. And these are other big GME communities with really sound people that didn't need to get in touch with me, and I appreciate it a lot. Thanks. And that, so like, that's it, and I'm not going to talk about them anymore, right? Because it's like they get so much airtime over here on that, and this is actually like supposed to be a channel about helping people, and that's their contriving shit that caused all that. And yes, Baba Jammer, you can be security for that business, and I probably fucking need it, right? So we didn't get any further down than the 12-hour time frame. We did say what commonly happens on charts and what's may still happen on this one is that when you go from the top Donchian channel and you fail to break the previous high, is even on a wick, that which is what happened here, right? These are still, this is slightly lower than this wick high on this 12-hour chart even, right? We can do it here, we can do it other places. Even though the body close was higher, and like that would defeat a lot of the traditional, or not traditional, but a lot of the more modern version of how people trade Wyckoff stuff. Like, it's still true to say that when we came back down and went through the basis line, it is common that you go and touch the bottom Donchian channel, right? That's coming in, like, not saying like the Donchian channel itself is magnetic, it's like identifies on a look back period where your average support could be coming in at, right? And I use that word average very weakly. Because it literally isn't. It's literally the lowest point of the candles within the past 20 periods. I think it's 20 periods. Let me just get up the input, look back 20. Yeah, so over the past 20 periods on the 12-hour, that means 10 daily open and closes. On those, like, the lowest one that comes in is this one here, right? And then tomorrow, that means, whereas the next lowest one, well, 20 back will be this one here, and that's up here. So the bottom Donchian channel is going to move up, and it would have moved up to 222 spot all the twos, but it won't now. It'll move up to where we put in our previous low on this candle, right? And that'll be the lowest of the previous, so that's why the Donchian channel goes up there, right? And that's how it works. 20 period, look back period, take the 20 off, then it's down here, and that's your next one. So this is where we'll have touched the bottom of it. And then when tomorrow we're looking back on price action, and we can say like, well, that's where the Donchian channel now is, and prices are up here, and they're back top then looking to test the basis line. You'll be able to say that constitutes an effective move that did do what it commonly does. And when we said it yesterday, it's still true today, and it'll still be true tomorrow. And then we'll look back and we'll see, well, that's how that worked, and that's what it looked like. Bye bye Jama, same shot gamers do too scared to lose their following. I'm going to fucking change that. Oh, you don't have to do anything. Nobody has to go out and do anything on my behalf. You just defend yourselves and stick up for yourselves. That's like the lesson of that. And don't let other people run roughshod over you. But like, no matter who they fucking are, and no matter what it costs you, stick up for yourself. Like, and that, be unreasonable, be irrational in your own defense. Don't let anyone can take control of your mind or body. Don't ever let anyone try to do that. And if you try to impugn my reputation, well, then you're gonna inevitably have to put your own up against it, and that. So if you go around framing me as being an entitled cunt, and then people dig into that and see, well, he's not actually entitled, he's just worked hard his entire life, and then they look into it more and they say, well, he's had an uphill struggle himself, and yet he achieved. And then when he got there, what did he do? He told the people who he thought were immoral to go fuck themselves, and walked off and did his own thing, having put in all the fucking groundwork to get there in the first place. And then I have to have people call me an entitled cunt. Like, What's your reputation? What is it? How can it possibly derive that opinion of mine? How can it? So nobody has to go out, right? These people damage themselves. They know not what they do in the first instance, nor do they understand the consequences of it for themselves. And in their own inhibitions, they aren't able to perceive those things that they've done, right? So we don't need to go after them. We don't need to make ourselves as bad as them. We just need to recognize the truth for what it is and then let that go, because it's no longer me that's offended and upset by it. That person was that days ago. It's the new Jamie now is obviously angry at people who are immoral and that, and I always will be, yeah. And that, so you can say like I'm overly emotional, but I'm not angry at the way people behave. But yeah, if there was an apology, I would be instantly forgiven. Of course it would. I mean, I'm like that, right? I don't hold a grudge in that, So anyway, whatever. Why am I still fucking talking about that shit? Anyway, it just would basically mean don't anyone go after anybody. The truth is, like, we don't need to, right? And the people impugn themselves often when they try to come after people. That's the way it works, right? And if you fall into any other game, then you're just playing politics, and I'm not fucking interested in that. Fuck. And that's just another reason why it's unlikely anyone's going to choose me to be the Prime Minister or First Minister or anything, because my political action is to buy and hold GME. And my reaction to all of this shit is to just up my efforts, right, so that people can see who I truly am, and it's like stupid if you're trying to shut me up, you're going to route it the wrong way, right? So 237, 240, we talked about these levels before, right? So it's a 236 and it's that level there, and we're on the 12 hour, and what did we talk about? How the Dawn Chain channel was going to, upon reflection, will have done what we were saying yesterday. It would be nice to have said it had done, because then it'll have followed through with this information. It'll also have put in a higher low, and the series of higher lows will continue, and this is what we thought about would happen in this week's price action. Would be the first half of it, and DD wrote it up yesterday, you'll see I defined the first half of this week's price action will be as in higher lows, and then the next part of it is about what comes up with the options expiry and what volatility are we going to see introduced towards the end of the week, and like at what point do we hear about the news, right? And that we've heard the news, and it came at a time where we're now getting the opportunity to buy this thing. Had this news about the market share offer and happened come at market close, it would have been hedge funds buying this up, it would have been other people, right? But it's on the markets now, and people don't want to show their hand, and people don't want to see necessarily like X, Y, and Z, and also we want to see how people respond to these sort of parts of the trend. That, that could be more positive here, this could be more positive here. There's no necessarily any bullishness in this drop down, with our lower levels on RSIs matching the convergent lower height levels on this downward thrust. So there's these aspects to it. Then we are also talking about this idea, like Dee was asking yesterday, about what point does the cup and handle fail, and we were talking about how on various assets it can be seen to perform slightly differently. One of those ways is on equity, especially on these ones with this type of volatility and this kind of average true range. Then you can also see things go down to like the 618, right? So we were saying that this level of may perform as a good retest for a higher low at 177, and that's still all really true, and if you believe in the bullish thesis for this thing, then you'll understand that the true value of this share is way higher than 220 shorts or no shorts, and this is a really bullish formation, and that things go certain ways at certain times, but they've just raised $1 billion, right? And they've got really good plans, and they're going to do well, and even in a like turtle, even in like this where time moves at 1 fucking second and glaciers never melt, right? This is still going to go up here. It'll just take slightly longer. And so if you're like managing your risk and not trading the wrong instrument in the wrong way, then you're absolutely fine here. And like all of these areas that we talk about as being buys are obviously in the end, we don't talk about them as financial advice, that they'll all end up being fine, right? And like the anxiety that you get from this type of price action is contrived, and it's like part of it is like painted on the charts, and often they'll try and paint things on the charts to make you feel like this is like, for example, this is lower right than here, and it's also convergent, but they can make you worried by like controlling the highs here, and so like putting like all this FUD in the world out there, like all the news about everything being shit, the dampening of enthusiasm and whatnot, and then a couple of the right market orders at the right time, and you do the option chain X, Y, and Z, and you control all their assets to make them look like whatever, and then wee bit of pressure on the market here is what actually causes the lows here, and people panic in that. And that's all designed, but it never goes beyond these ranges. It's because we, the apes, don't sell, so our psychology isn't that affected. But we can see that this is like a lack of buying pressure is what, like, as you see with this trend here, what it represents is a lack of the buying pressure, right? There's lots of different ways of looking at it, but that's what it is. Despite that, and despite its seemingly dramatic fall off with the bearish divergences, we're still coming in higher, convergent high here, with prices being higher. Like, prices are significantly higher, and we're on the log chart, so that's like, if you look at that and think that's significant compared to the higher here, you're right, it is. Is that bullish or bearish? Not really anything, but it speaks to the fact that we're still in this trendy move. You could draw a line through it like that, or you could go like this here and draw a line along it like that, and it's quite obviously a long uptrend, right? You zoom out and then it tells you there's these sort of pullbacks, which at the time cause anxiety. That one's even hard to see behind all the work we've done here, but although they cause anxiety and whatnot, it's very much your own psychology as opposed to anything bad happening. And yeah, so like this is it, this is that. So like, why are we on that chart? So let's just talk about macro shit there. Down at that, you can see that would also take us to the basis line of these on-chain channels. It's still the same deal, a 20 period look back, but you're on the 4-hour chart, so you're looking at 24-hour periods, and then like the top one comes in at where we thought there'd be a measured move there, where you're at the 0.5 fib retracement on this from this high to low. The retracement of the 0.5 would be up around there, and that's normal, having just hit the 0.5 on the one down, right? On top of that, it shows us like why these fib levels are important with regards to with regards to like the wick high from the close in this formation and the body close from it for the last week, most of it all coming in at around that 227, between 222 227 zone that we were talking about earlier. So right, there's why these levels are still important, and these are important time frames. So like, even on 4 hours, you're looking for, you can't really go much lower than a 4 hour. I was talking about a daily chart because it would look good if our candle finished up around here, it really would. But even on a 4 hour, like, that's where you'd be maybe making trading decisions, taking your analysis down that low and looking at 22228. When you look across here, you can see that's that 4 hour trend line that we were talking about here. I mean, we talked about it probably a lot here. I can't remember. I could blow smoke up my arse or whatever, but I know we've drawn it out ages ago. And like, we expected some sort of test of it, and you can draw it in slightly slower time frames, or like perhaps like with a more stricter line, say like, oh, perhaps we, well, you can't really say we broke it, can you? Nah, that's perfect. So there's that. And yeah, that's the 4 hour, and we're talking about this, and we were talking about RSI looks fine. I also wanted to get up something else on now on the 4 hour, so we take them off. Thanks, Donkey Tails. You were useful for the time you were there. So slip on the Bollinger Bands. And yeah, what you're looking for is for prices to recover this at the basis line here. They touch the bottom of the Bollinger Bands as and where they were right now. The increased range means that those Bollinger Bands expand, and it's likely that you'll see some tests of the basis line throughout it, which, I mean, these don't really constitute. That's a 20 period moving average as well. So on 4 hour time frame, you can say like, being below that isn't particularly positive, and that's what you're looking to recover. And when you do, it would seem that you'll be then going in for a touch of the top line. And we can see here, right, like you can see like little things coming together now on this chart when you think, right, well, if we do recover that 20 period, right, if we do recover that, like, it's very quite on 4 hour time frame, it's very like it was bullish to be above that. So once you do it, you tend to test the top of it. And where do they come in at? Right, well, it's in at the 382, it's in at the 236 of this drop down. It's at that bottom level of that liquidity zone we're talking about, all the 222s. If we can get up there, it explains why we touched off it and came back a little bit earlier. And it's also a definitive point for us to be above, and along with the 236 and along with this like level of these candle closes that we're all, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8, and then 9 here, and then 10 and 11, right? This is like above this where the previous gap was, and so on. There's like loads of reasons why, like literally counted 11 there, why it might stop and why it did, and why it'd be important to get above it would be really strong. Like that'd be very strong to have done that in the face of those things, like to be on top of that, all those walls. And then you'd be likely moving on up, at which point the top Bollinger Band will have come down, it'll have tightened up a little bit, that'll be in it around the 618 here, about the golden pocket retrace, and the move that you'll probably see off the back of a positive close here on a 4 hour above in that liquidity zone, right, in and up in there, especially in open and close, you will likely go up in the golden pocket and will be likely testing between 275, give or take a fiver or not, right? Now, am I going to say that happens by this Friday? No, I'm not going to say it's going to. I'm just going to say that if I see you guys back here on Friday doing a market open stream and we're thinking about it with a really high probability, and that the TA suggests that it might happen, then that's really good for us. That's like really good news for us. So it's not a price prediction, but it is good for us, right? And that's how you manage your expectations, right? You don't think about 880, you don't think about 2,450, you think about like what means something. What would we be able to look back and say that will give other market participants confidence, right? And that these are those levels, right? And that time frame is as low as you can take it for this type of expectation management, which is what I'm trying to do. So then you got down to the hourly, and you can say, well, what's actually likely to happen today? Well, you can see, you've got this Bollinger Band coming in here. You can see that that's like tried it, got an open above it, got a close again below it, a bit of flux, a bit of consolidating around there. It's also the breakout zone from this on the hourly chart. It's the gap from today. It could still be that people want to fill that gap. It may well be that this is one of those gaps that just, because of a news catalyst, tend not to get like that. That's how these happen often, is like with really bullish or bearish news catalysts that people weren't anticipating happening like that fast. Those are gaps that might not fill for a long time. They might not fill for a long time, or they might fill later today, right? And in which case then it's like you'll have people like, oh, but prices didn't go up even though they announced that they had done the market offer and whatnot, and that. It's like, yeah, there's that, but like the charts tell you stuff, right? And then it's only afterwards that people would then start contriving news. So what is currently, obviously, this is a good example of how psychology is used against you, right? The news that GameStop have completed at the market share offering means that they've raised 1.1 billion in capital that they can put towards their strategic objectives to provide value for their shareholders, right? That's the purpose and the practical result. At the end of today, if prices are above 200 and especially if they're above 244, but even if they're above 227, people are going to turn around, they're going to say the positive news catalyst about the money at the market offering drove the prices up, right? That's what they're going to say. And if prices finish below sub 200, right, which is still perfectly capable of doing, 177 would be a really good rebuy, and I'd like it, right? But if prices finish down below 200, people will say there wasn't enough capital raised. They didn't raise enough capital to make a significant dent in their ways of achieving their strategic objectives. They just didn't get enough money. They didn't really get enough per share. They didn't whatever the fuck it was. They'll say, oh, people just didn't respond positively because they don't believe in GameStop's objectives. They don't believe they're capable of achieving it, or they don't think the money was enough to do it, or they're going to need this in order to do it, or they're going to do whatever, right? And they'll frame it in a negative light. And that's the way news works. News is always used like when people are like, well, what was that? What caused that? And they go back, and then it's their perception of any one event that leads them to derive that as being the cause, right? And if you think that some fucking like BBC News or CNBC have somehow got the intellect there at their disposal to actually find out the real reason that things are happening in real time, right? You're kidding yourself. You're kidding yourself, right? Because this is an insidious, vacuous, pathetic, bottomless, shitty industry, right? Called the media, where there's fuck all there. There's no virtue. There's fuck all. There's the amount of actual proper investigative journalists that work in the mainstream media, right? There are fewer than them than there are real shares to trade, and like there's fuck all of them, and their ability to operate, and their audience that they're able to reach, especially in the vacuous world of personality and the way that we promote people and stuff, and who gets attention nowadays, right? That's how news works. It's the idiots. Right? The bastards run the world. The idiots do their bidding. Don't fucking believe that shit, right? The news is fucking stupid, right? It's a day old. It's at least a day old. Any news you ever hear is already at least a day old. Yet when it's 2 days old, you'll turn around and say, that's yesterday's news. Nobody cares. Well, the news you're hearing today is yesterday's news, right? Nobody fucking cares about that either, right? And that's the way it is, and I'm trying to be friendly. Yo, Kim Robbins, just because. Thanks, Kim. Yo, maybe it shut me up. Thanks. Super chat $5. Oh yeah, I'm talking about it's the same in the gaming world, and they will know me. Oh right, I see what you mean in terms of well, I expect a lot of people now. Watch this drive. Yo, Bama Majama. Thanks very much, Kim, the legend. Love you. You're doing well, and everything goes well for you over at the minute, and you're feeling all better and recovered now. Lucinda, super chat $5. Can I be the therapist for the staff in your business? We need to have a business who doesn't just want to buy a mindfulness app and claim they are. Yeah, you could definitely do that, Lucinda. And they might well need a therapist, because I'm very autocratic, you know what I am, and if you're not autocratic, you're going to be fucking hating it. If you don't mind someone screaming fuck off and you can scream it back, then we'll get on like house on fire. Otherwise, we're going to need the services of Lucinda. And that was that. And then before, Bad Marjama being just like ridiculously generous, thank you very much. And Kim, so cool, yes. So don't believe the news, it's stupid, right? And people that believe it are stupid, and you don't want to be stupid, and it's dead easy, right? There's one of the few things in the world that you can be less stupid at by just making a decision, right? It's within your own power, and you should definitely think about doing that. I'm not talking to anyone in particular. I'm just like hoping that people understand like this, and what I'm really saying isn't like my force of my emotion there wasn't on how stupid that I think the news is. It was on in order to hopefully you'll think like yeah I understand and agree with this event psychology, right? That I should be the one that determines my own thoughts and my own feelings, right? You should be the one, right? You are the only one. Right, and what's the purpose of leading your life when other people are telling you when to do things? Sell your GME, what the fucking news is. You know what the news is, right? You know what it is, because there's people in every part of the world who love to tell you the truth about the world, right? And you're not going to rely on some fucking journalist to do it. Kristen Marie, can you talk about Picnic? I'd love to hear about it. Ah, fuck, you donated too. Well, it's... well, I'll talk about it at the end, right, or in a bit. Yeah, okay, I'll do some tea. Can you talk about how to identify when coffee and distribution is transitioning from stage B to stage C? Thanks. Yeah. Actually, both of those things, right? Have I missed anything else? Tradespotting, I love the real talk, Lucy and Scout Diamonds. Yeah, probably people are fucking fed up of hearing it. You know, there's like all the conspiracy theorist guys and the guys that shout about like news this and news that, and like then they maybe they're a suit and a tie and that, and maybe they're legitimate, respectable people and like whatever, but they also seem to construct these logical arguments and that to go ahead and draw like bigger pictures. And the truth is, like, I'm not interested in that. Just the first part of what everybody else does, just the like trust yourself part. Like anything beyond that's totally up to you. Like whatever, take it if you want, but like that's the message. Like trust yourself, eh? Yo, so that's why I keep that fresh by keeping it bite-sized. Ha! Well, what else did I miss then? That was it, I think, right? So there was the question was, conduct a picnic. I'll do that after I answer D's question, which is talk about how identify with coffee and distribution is transitioning from stage B to stage C, right? So you're talking about stage B to stage D in terms of the rules, aren't you? I think you are. Let me go a quick. What is this? What is this, Google? Stage ABC. ABC of behaviour. Why don't you get out of my face? Thanks for that. Ugh. Get through that quickly. 5 stages of the market. Yep. Composite man. Damn right. Price cycles. Here we are, right? What are you talking about? This is the price cycle. You're talking about buying things. You're talking about buying signals. Wyckoff laws. That's like numbers again. These aren't ABCs. Where we're at there. You're at phase A, B, C, D, E, right? Okay, so phase A, that's like, where does it say it? Well, it doesn't say it there, does it? Where is it? It's like phase A is when you break the trend, right? You were previously on a downtrend, for example. Like right now, like you're like, we were in a downtrend, and then we went through what would be considered to be phase B, which is like this aspect of this thing here, right? And you're asking, when does it go from B to C? Wyckoff distribution, right? So I typically think that this is like, I think we're in a period of accumulation. You probably heard me talk about it a while, and I think that like that's Wyckoff quite neatly does it all here, right? So you've got like the this is your trend in phase A. You know, this is like a if you were talking about like anyway, whatever, right? So you're talking about distribution here. And that phase is A, and then it's broken, and then it's B, right? When you go into this consolidation at this level, wherever it happens to be, it isn't in time with support, so, and lots of different supports. This whole zone that was below us again was all support, so was these touches, and that obviously 3 long ones here. At that point, you know, things transitioned a little bit into phase B, and then phase C. The transition that is usually something that's like, well, what did they say about it on this stupid fucking website? Do they even say anything? Why aren't you saying anything? Early on price B, price swings tend to be wide and accompanied by high volume. Well, we haven't had that. As the professionals absorb the supply, volume downswings when the TR trend diminish. That's obviously was very difficult to tell when you don't start off on big volumes, so that's very hard to spot. When it appears likely to be exhausted, stock is ready for phase C. Yeah, well, also I hate that word exhausted when you're talking about stuff, but okay, cool. It works for me. And then say C is like the big one, right? The where it's like, well, it's too late now, you should have got in at phase B. And at that point, you're only noticing it's confirmed because it goes up through such big moves. As noticed, the springs price move below support level of TR in phase B, right? And beginning of a new uptrend, right? Bulls, bears, right? So this is at this point, I'm thinking like, well, at this point, right, when you go into phase B and phase C, there's lots of different ways of looking at it. Right now, the spring, you've got a news catalyst, you've got that's convergence though on the lows, and the volume itself. Right there, was there a pickup of volume when it started to enter phase B? So you know, this is not enough to go on, right? And it's not distinct from back here, so it really isn't. But we could, but that's what you're looking for, right? There's a tiny uptick there, but it's not good enough. So you've not really got that volume signature that you kind of wanted on phase B. And regardless, you've got a convergent lower low here anyway, which you didn't really want, right? When it comes to the Wyckoff stuff, right? You don't want these lower lows if it's a period of accumulation. Professionals would normally pick it up before then, but it may well have been like the effect of that market offering and so on caused this. And then prices from that point spring, and yeah, sure, you're looking at it there, and you're going to confirm that with volume. Well, you're not really going to get any confirmation with this volume because it just it's not yet. Anyway, obviously, at the end of the day, things might be different. I can't make the volume thing bigger, but yesterday was I'm in the early chart, Jamie. That was this morning. Go to 15 minutes, see that trend. Yeah, perhaps that is it, right? Not distinct enough. Certainly no. It's not even bigger than here, so it's not enough, right? Need to see more volume on this. You'd also need to see that this closing above higher highs, right? So this is what Wyckoff distribution would say that phase C is like, something like that, right? Or like, no, wouldn't say that, right? Say like it did there, and it would be that there, and then this will be like slightly higher, right? And then this would be a higher high, and this would be a higher low, and there might be 2 or 3 of those peaks, and that's that's what phase C would look like in retrospect, right? But at this point, I think that when you look at Wyckoff distribution, it's like the outfit you're going to wear today, right? It's everything all together. But in order to get there, you're going to need to put on your pants, right? And then you're going to need to put on your socks. And then you're going to need to put on your trousers or your skirt or whatever it is. And then you're going to need to put on your vest and your shirt or your top or whatever, your t-shirt, whatever it is you're wearing, depending on what your life you're leading. And or maybe you're just fucking naked, but you're going to at least need to stand up and get out of bed. And like the way that you'd be doing that would be would be breaking like the previous levels of support and resistance, and that's like important for Wyckoff because it's all about making higher highs and higher lows and so on. And then to be honest, right, and this is how anyone that's probably doing that is at the minute is doing this, you don't really want to be using like a log chart or a linear chart or any sort of x-axis on your chart in that way, right? You want to instead be doing these things that Rocky and I were talking about recently there. Where is it? Where are you? Is it in settings? I think we just found it in settings. Rocky, where's the point and figure charts at? Is it in settings or is it somewhere else? RC could be buying up the float, lol. Is that Rocky Curran or is that Ryan Cohen? He could be, yeah, he could himself be buying up the float. I'm sure that he was thinking about the implications on the float for this, that, the market offering, and that would be how he was going to introduce it. And your fanny pack. Although Rocky, I don't see him here in the chat at the minute. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. And I can't remember what I just asked him to do for me anyway, so that's not a great answer. What is everyone else saying? Ryan Cohen Ventures listed at 12.7%, Ryan Cohen at 12.7% of total shares. It's 25.4% according to that source. Yes, 25.4%. If those two numbers double together, yeah, and because of the structure of the company and he owns that much, that's why he has to be chairman of the board. And I assume that it's either those holdings or with the support of somebody else, then in order to take them above the 25%, because that's what you need, like to be make sure that you're definitely informed of every shareholder meeting and whatnot. There are other ways to screw over shareholders, and 25% guarantees you're all right. So I'm sure he does have that, or at least backing that takes him there. And when you consider that there's about 17%, was it, or is it 26% of the company is held by insiders? I think it's 17. Then you can imagine, yes, in terms of like squeezing people himself, yeah, he's kind of like Porsche, and we're kind of like the German government. Jeff Smith, Tradespotting, still within rules of cup and handle. Yes, still within it by a long shot. Yeah, Rocky, I was going to ask you if you're there. Top there next to time and frame. Time and frame at the top there. Oh, it's not on here then, you mean? Symbol. Next to time and frame. Oh, it's up here with this one. Yes, they've added it here. Okay, excellent. Oh no, I've not got the sugary. Well, have I not upgraded it properly? So is it not going to give me anything? Oh, sugary, sugar. This is what you get for doing stuff on Rocky's computer. Here it is. No, it is here. You see, you're lying to me. Stupid thing. Stop lying to me. Yeah, so the way I tend to do Wyckoff distribution isn't on like a linear or log chart, right? You remove the X timeline because it's got fucking shit all to do with it. The X-axis has got nothing to do with it. And it's just about the relative range. And if you can make higher highs on the relative range, and this is what you'll typically really need to see if you're looking for phase changes, right? Whether that be A to B, right? Here's A to B here. When there is no x-axis, so like you're gonna have to take my word for it. This here is A, right? This is B, these two, and this is the start of C, and that'll be confirmed when this X comes in here at the same height of these ones, even more so when it comes in here, right? Now the fibs don't mean anything, the formations I've got drawn here don't mean anything, they're all from the other chart. But this is called point and figure, right? It removes the x-axis. Like, this is in a world where time doesn't exist, and that was how this analysis was done. The way that you add in your time is with Gann, so that's how you get Elliott and Gann, and that's you put those two together, and then that's kind of like how I like to trade, right? But these are both very loose, right? They're the outfit you're wearing. They're not necessarily the pants or the socks. So like, yeah, when you're looking at this for real and you're defining that prices beat, you're not going to also be looking across here at these prices here. This is like the scale that you're losing over here is not like the price of the thing. That isn't about it necessarily, right? It's about well, it is, but and it is relevant, but because you've taken the X timeline off it, it's not relevant in the ways you might think it is. So as and when we've got candle closes on daily time frame, above 332, right? A daily time frame close above 332. That's when like the whole world goes fucking crazy, you know. The whole world goes fucking crazy. You're like, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit, you know. And a lot of like a lot of people look back and they go about that news, right? In the news, right? You think CNBC are going to get up a point and figure chart? I doubt it, right? Like there'll be a few people that copy how Rocky and I do stuff. So expect over the next wee while you'll see point and figure charts start appearing on DD and that. And if you don't see Rocky's name attached and you don't see mine, then you do that. There'll be like a student of ours that we don't yet know about. Let's put it like that. And if you see it on Andrew Mo Money's charts, then you can know exactly where this fucking came from, right? If you see a point and figure chart on Andrew Mo Money's channel, feel free to tell him how much of a fanny he now is, right? Because there's only so far you can take it, right? By demonstrating your own ignorance and still maintaining some sort of an audience, and at that point you wouldn't deserve one. So this point and figure chart, right? You're looking for a close above 350, and that's when you can say that the spring has sprung, right? And that's what C is, right? It's about the spring has sprung. And that's not the squeeze has closed, it's the spring has sprung, and it's like bing bong. It's like bing bong, yo. So yeah, so that's what you're looking for, right? And like Rocky says, you get it. That's when you look at the candlesticks here, you just change it from candles or Hikinashi or whatever it is you use. Or some people use a line chart, and that's perfectly fine too, especially if it, from the daily upwards, right? I mean, I used to like that, right? But and then there's high, low, close, whatever, and there's like all sorts of different shit. But point and figure is what you'd use for working out accumulation, distribution, Wyckoff stuff, right? But then again, hi Coco. How are you? Meow. Meow. Meow meow. So that's that, yo. Anyway, that was today's question, and Christy wanted to talk about Tradespotting. I'll do that in a moment. Don't want to do it when everybody else is still here that's like interested in GME, because I'm not trying to fucking sell anything to anyone or push anything on anybody. And Christy, you're, I think, prepared to wait around until that point comes, which isn't too long. One for 2 hours 17 minutes, half an hour of it was behind a thingy anyway. You don't want to be staring at a point and figure chart all day. So right, so we talked about this. We talked about how good it would be if the candle finished above. It would be good if it was bullishly engulfing. It'd be good if it was a hammer. It'd be good if it was up here, like a shooting star. It's like not really, because it's not at the top of an up move, so it's not that, but it would be positive. Would be very positive, and then that candle itself being so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so again we've got this, like, I hate diagonal resistance, but it's all part of this channel, and together it does look like a formation, so fair enough, we could go that. It could also be said that if you weren't doing it like that, you could look at it like this. This is maybe how other people would have been doing this, and it seems perfectly valid now looking back. Something like that there, and that wedge. And I mean, again, it doesn't make too. Why has that got? Oh, I talked about where it might go on that other chart. I'll delete that. Like that's that same sort of, like, the range there you'd expect, and that, and you could say, like, well, a channel doesn't have a measured move, a wedge does, and that would be it too. So like there again, you're looking at it in that level 244 at the bottom of that zone. That's where you're looking at. So prices, that's where we're looking for them to go. Does that mean it's going to happen today? No, I would really like them to finish above 222. If it got anywhere near 244, that would be great. And by the end of the week, if we could be talking about the possibility of finishing above like 268, even up as far as 275, 285, that'd be amazing. Because then you're only a Scott skipping a jump from 330, and then, like we talked about, when it gets to 330, like then you know the professionals are in the game, right? Then you'll know that it'll be like, you could say from the Wyckoff accumulation over the period of the past 7 to 9 weeks, you would confirm that a lot of that price action was professionals, and then you'd go back and you'd say, well, actually I can see that since November it's still one side winning. It's still one side winning, not just on the logarithmic chart, but also on distribution, average true range, and how we've managed to come in with accumulation distribution at support and resistance. You can say we're now making higher highs from Wyckoff, and you could then go back and we can look at the linear progression across the which might be a good thing to do in around the close on Friday, and talk about, well, if we get another couple of good moves what sort of moves is this? Like on the log chart out on the properly scaled one, is this like a 1 to 2? Is this a 2 to 2? Is this 2 to 1? What sort of rate of increase can we expect to continue? And it's all good that way. Tell him he's a fanny. Now that is it, piss cutter. Now that is piss cutter. Thanks for all the great info and streaming. Cheers, Rocco Groupie. Tell him he's a fanny. Oh yeah, that was that. Now this is piss cutter. Hello, Senor Piss cutter. What was I talking about there? I can't remember. If the naked shorts are never able to recover because apes want to keep their shares, who controls the company? Insiders, institutions, or retail? Rocco Groupie, thanks so much. That's really generous. You're really generous to myself and Rocky. Thank you very much. And you've got a very similar name to him. And that's a very nice icon. Did I notice that before? I like it. This look makes me think about being... There's where the food is green and then it gets turned into red. Yum yum. Thanks very much. Right, what am I like? And Cachicho was asking if the naked shorts are never able to cover. If they're never able to cover, eventually they turn into failures to deliver, eventually turn into failures to receive, and there isn't necessarily a timeline on how long that goes, but it can't go on forever, right? Entropy affects everything in every way, so eventually they'll get fucked. If we buy and hold like that, it'll just will happen. And then you have to know who, if they're not able to cover because apes want to keep their shares, who controls the company? Insiders, institution, or retail? Well, the shorts are never covered. They'll turn into failures to deliver, which turn into failures to receive, and those do not have voting rights. And so, as Rocky's been outlining a lot of times, they don't have voting rights. Failures to receive, and Rocky's pretty much the only one I know that talks about failures to receive. Anyway, they don't have voting rights, and so it won't be the shorts, the synthetic shares themselves that won't be able to vote. So, but like who owns the shares? Well, it's the shares that are able to vote. They're the people who control the company. The shares that are able to vote. And where are those shares? Well, there's 26% of them or something in mutual funds, and the State Street, a shitload of them. And then retail's ownership is represented by those, largely by like well, us, it's out there, it's obvious. And so, like, who owns the company? Well, it's always like the board of directors, right? And they're responsible to their shareholders, and their shareholders are those shareholders that have voting rights as opposed to anyone else. And voting rights come with a dividend, that, like, and so the dividend will be paid out. Now, there may or may not be implications for a crypto dividend. I tend not to put too much weight on it. I know lots of other people do, and that's fine, right? You live by the sword, die by the sword. That's not the sword I want to die by. I don't want to die on the hill of the NFTs, right? That's not me. Take my reputation and keep it away from NFTs all fucking together as it happens. Not that I don't think there's no use to them. That's not the point. I'm saying, like, this particular type of catalyst for the short squeeze, I'm not sure, right? Not the hill I want to die on. That's all I'm saying. But like the smart people believe in it, and so I'm willing to be open-minded to it. So, how does that get distributed? Well, a dividend is traditionally it's given out, and like your prime brokers can just like facilitate it all for everybody, or one particular agent might do it. With the crypto one, it's seen to be like, well, the dividend is this cryptocurrency, but I don't know how that would work legally, and I've not looked into the overstock thing exactly, but I don't know how that would work legally, and I don't think that there's been a precedent set for it that could be reliably trusted, which is the shareholders themselves. There isn't a significant number of them who would then complain that this is not the value that they were supposed to be getting, or that they themselves, for whatever reason, weren't able to avail of it. They weren't able to take advantage, or they weren't able to use the facilities in place to claim that dividend, and so far they were unfairly excluded. And how that works out in the courts, I'm not sure how that would go, and I'm sure that's probably what was going on with Overstock, but I don't know. But it seems malicious, but whatever. So with regards to dividends and the voting rights, sure, like the prime broker has to stump up for them, and they can only do that so many times if they're paying out the dividend because they hold the short share, so they have to pay out the dividend on behalf of the person who owns that share that's going to be given to them. These synthetic shorts and that, and they've sold the synthetic somebody and that, they'll end up having to pay them a dividend. So you start claiming for your money, they're going to start paying out for things that they can't afford, right, over and over and over again, because that's a hole with a bucket in it. And so, like, what question was I answering so I can get round to finally fucking answering it? Can't remember. But there's Arts of Labour says, I want to buy some more GME today or tomorrow. I was broke yesterday. How can I use TA to decide when, today or tomorrow? Thank you, Taboo Tongue. Right, well, you can look at this here, like today, Taboo Tongue. You can look at this here and you can say, well, where is this move going? And if you're going to buy it either today or tomorrow, and you're going to buy it, so you're not needing to work out which direction is it going, then you're simply looking for either, you're looking for either not doing it right, like today or tomorrow. Your priorities are either reducing risk, or maximizing gains. Right now, the maximizing gains you can get in it from at these levels is quite low. What's the difference between even from where we are down to 177? Right, like literally, I understand it's a difference of like whatever, just less than 20%, right? Isn't it, or about that, around about that amount. And that's fine, right, if you want to look at it like that. But in terms of risk, you can do so much better for yourself by seeing prices achieve certain things, right? Now, again, there's other risk, like you're not necessarily going to be able to get it just because prices do certain things. So some people will be waiting for us to close above the 236 on this fib here, which comes in at around... Which fib is this one here? Which one is this? This has come down from this high. Yeah, this was this retrace, and is that in at the low properly? There it is. Yeah, so you'll, like, some people will be waiting for a close above 233. Why is that like that? 618, 236 over here, 518 there. Yeah, so some people are looking for that. Why have I got these? Where's the 222 line I had gone? If I deleted my 222 line, I have anyway. I was expecting to see that, but whatever. I'm on the daily time frame, so I'm losing all the other confluence around there. Whoops. Oh, now it's 618 and the other one's way over there. Fuck's sake. Right. Yeah, so I mean anywhere around there. I'd say like what you're really looking for, mate, if you're looking to see like what you're going to buy and you want to make the most of both worlds, right? You don't want to give away money, but you also would like a little bit of risk taken off the table. I'd be looking for a close in above around 222, between 222 and 227, a 4-hour close above there. Then I'd probably be like, that would be me that would buy it. But like I'm saying, this is me talking to myself about what I would do. It's not financial advice, and it is what I would do, right? It's just like if I was to say to you like, oh, cross the ball, and you're a football player and you crossed the ball and then your team didn't score. If you came over to the crowd to me and said that was your fault, that would be ridiculous, right? So it's the same thing here also. And so that's what I mean, like play your own game, right? So anyway, yeah, I'd be looking for that. That'd be great. But personally, I'd probably, if I had liquidity, would just be buying it here, right? I think this is very positive. And if you're down at the 1 hour time frame, you can see that this basis line is, as I was saying, it's moving down. The top line on the Bollinger Bands, it's moving down. Now we're going to close above the 236 and be closing outside the top level of the Bollinger Band. Like, you also introduce a risk that you're not going to be able to get it here, certainly not in a limit order. And if you're trading options, then like even like the so illiquid, the idea that you'd be able to like catch a bid at that point, having that is like really difficult. Also, your volatility will have increased, so then your prices will be inherently higher. So like there's so many things to consider when you ask what is just a simple question like, do I buy it today or tomorrow? It's all about who are you, what are you trading, in what way, and what's your approach to risk, and so on. The short answer is like this is a bargain. Like slightly more sophisticated answer is probably like the 222 to 227 area, and open and close above that would be very positive, and you'd have something to go on. Even more like risk averse, you'd be looking for an open and close on 4 hour above 233, and then you'd be looking to take the prices up to like the end of the week 244, 275, 285, that sort of thing. But it may well be that you could get a lower test lower again at like say close this gap, because on the daily time frame here, that didn't help. On the daily time frame, we opened up, you know. I am on the daily time frame, yes. Has it closed that gap? Well, yeah, I suppose it didn't actually open up on the gap. Did it? Well, I'm confused now. What chart am I on? Log, candles, GME, daily time frame. Nothing there. Let's go down to this. Yeah, well, there wasn't no real gap, right? It's just on the smaller time frames. On hourly, yeah, sure. On 4 hour, yeah, sure. On the 12 hour, no. Right, so like, it's not even a real gap, really. Not really. You could just like fucking forget about that. actually now don't think that that's going to be a thing looking at it down there. They're getting this basis line here down the hourly chart, right, and open and close above that. That's like already very positive. It's had like one technically, but they just started up there, so that's not very good. This is the test, sure, under it, but where does it close? And it closes in 55 minutes, so you'd have to wait around that. You want to open and close above that, and if you open and close in now, like hourly, 4 hour, like you might take it down to the hourly and start making decisions. So if you want to really get into it, and then you go down to the 15 minutes, say, well, it's touched up one, it's going to touch the middle one, it's going to go on again. This is like this so tight here, and that move from it. This is going to start tracing that up. Is that a higher high than over on the left there? Not yet. So what does that? 219, 218, yeah. So some people will be waiting for there. Right? I mean, if you're looking at it from where do I buy today or tomorrow over these price times, like prices may go up here and then come back down again, at which point 219 will be your target. This is a buy, it seems to me. It's lower than here, it's higher there. That's like strong. This top's like strength. There's that. That's that. Didn't even get into that. Look up to the hourly. Positive trends taking over. ADX middle-ish there. That's okay. That's that coming up and that consolidating out there without staying there very long or tall. Really, there. That's could have been better, but consolidated in it. That's good enough. Yeah, so I mean the question from a where do I buy it, mate, is like really just give or take a few quid, right? It's somewhere in and around here, and those levels below 204, you're probably not going to get that. If you do, it constitutes a close on that gap right down at 200. Anywhere, if you get it down at 200 again, it's incredibly good, right? That's what the charts say, but based on the potential thing that might happen. Obviously, it could be totally different. It could be at 177, and you'd be like, Jamie, you told me to cross the ball and didn't with shit. But I'll be like, well, I didn't tell you to cross the ball. I just said, like, here's options and possibilities and that, and it's up to you based on how you feel about risk and what your level of patience and tolerance is, where you go with it. And then I genuinely want to give you like an answer that will really, really help you, but that isn't necessarily the answer where exactly where the prices are going, right? I mean, you might feel good about it afterwards, but really, trust me, the hedge fees will put you through shit up at 473, 483, back down at 383, but all that shit might happen. Then you know you'll have all the other things you're worried about that are annoying, and you won't care about 5 quid here or there. So I hope that is of some way of a help. I don't know if it was Arts of Labour. I hope so. Look at all those people helping each other in chat there. Nice words too. It's important. Aye, nice one. Good man, Andy. And everybody else has been through these tough things. It's good to pass on that experience, and if you can learn from other people in that way, well done. But I think it's very difficult. And to a couple of new people subscribed, guys, thanks very much. So everybody's like subscribed and everything's good. What we're looking for is that, right? So that's that question. I suppose the other one people are asking is like, other than where do I buy, is where are we going to? And I kind of answered that beforehand with these sort of on top side targets, which is where it looks like we're going to. Obviously, we're still within this formation. Still this like wedge thing we drew here. Still totally legit, right? You can do it different ways, but it seems to me it's like that sort of thing. Maybe even it's down here and we have broken out of it and this is a retest, you know, that could be like that. I'd actually be inclined to just leave it at like this because it's such a bullish action, and because of where it retested there and that wick, kind of be inclined to go with that. At which point, the time to buy between today and tomorrow is now. That's what that answer means. And we're taking it to the hourly. Let's go down to the 15 minutes. That's that. It is now. Is the time to buy between now and tomorrow's today. And if you said you didn't have your money till tomorrow, so what times? What prices to buy? Well, then again, it's on those retests I gave you above, right? They'll be also good. 219, 222, 227, 233, 244, 275, up to 280 something. They're all still positive rebuys, right? But you obviously miss a lot of the move by that stage, and that's up to you, right? That's the answer. It's all up to you. Yo, and yeah, so there. In the future, where you buy, where's the price going to, where do you buy today, all those things. That's what people wanted to know. There's some brief technical analysis across different time frames. We looked at the various indicators that were relevant for them. I didn't maybe explain how they work, but I can't do that every day. I did a little bits of it. Rocky does have stuff on this about this on his channel if you want to look up how to do these things. He's great with Bollinger Bands. You look, yep, this video on it's great. And he'll also explain the Rick and Morty lips and what might mean that might mean later today at close. So definitely check that out. Right, so that's it. And what else am I going to do really? I mean, I've answered the important questions. We've got that formation on. We've got a measured move off the back of it. We're going to be more accurate with it and say it was there, but it was actually there. It broke out. So this is here 244. That's what we're aiming for. I know. I said 222, 227. Right. I know I said this zone. But that 244, the problem with that 244 as being the target is when you scoot over here to the right, you see that the 236 is at 233, so it's really actually like closing and above here, and that would put paid to a lot of the people that have thought this was a bearish formation. Who knows how that come out? Like, look like a bump and run. And I think all of this is a bear trap. I think I've been saying it for I don't know how long, but at least a big chunk of last week. Like, I think this is a bear trap. This absolutely was of help. I'm holding on to GME, but I want to learn TA to trade other stocks to Butong. Oh, you wanted to? How does TA teach you? Fuck, I answered it wrong. I answered it as if you weren't looking for the TA, and I was trying to use the TA to push that across. Like, look, use the TA. But so anyway, hopefully it came across. That's the TA. That'll, those sort of things. Hello, Doomslayers. I hope everyone has a splendid day today, says Chris. Well, lovely. Nice one. Yeah, I hope you all do. Not all hedge funds are bad, mind you, but they're a select group. Not good. Yeah, that's true. Not all of them are bad. Some of them are like from quite good people I admire that do try to do things. And I've seen other people who I really respect who've tried to set up hedge funds and it hasn't worked because other hedge funds have fucked them. And it doesn't take much for good people to rule the world, but like fucking those baddies are really in the way. When do you see that fund fell back in price action? When do we see that fund who fell back in price action? Oh my god, I don't understand. Sorry, Lucas. Fucking believable, says Stefan S. I love you, Stefan. I hope you didn't think that my reaction earlier was with regards to you. It wasn't. Maybe because you're so much of what I think to be a friend that I was like, so I actually was like that. It wasn't meaning it about you at all. Hopefully you heard that. Great, better buy more now then. Up. I love so much before I die. I know you can't bribe me. I'll die poor, no better than anyone. We all will. We'll all die with absolutely nothing. And think of all that joy you could have had by giving it away and then lived without nothing for a tiny wee period of time before you die, or just enough, and then if I spent it all on things that helped and made a difference, what a life. That's why I live stocks more than crypto. I need weekends off. Thanks. Yeah. Well, like, this is the thing. You don't want... yeah, it's trading is like that, right? It's fatiguing, especially in a bull market. Managing people's expectations in a bull market. It's a fucking nightmare. I've always been sorry for Rocky doing it. Because people get so excited and that. And, like, managing people's anxieties is a lot easier because, like, after a certain amount of time you learn how to not get upset by other people's get affected by other people's FUD, but it's really difficult not to get affected by everybody else's enthusiasm. So personally I find it really fatiguing trying to stick to as and still experience it as in a bull trend. I find it fatiguing. So why am I answering that? What am I talking about? I'm obviously going off track and talking about different things. Did I even get down to the 15-minute time frame? I did. That's where we're at the minute. We have the Bollinger Bands on. They look like it's bump and run. I was talking about tiff thing. That does look good. 75, whatever. Is that going to be? There's like people could just continue that. They could say like this was an aberration and whatever, which is cool. And if they want to do that, then the measured move would end up being around 270 as well. That's also that, like, and that does it's not a measured move, right? Because it's all wrong. That idea is all wrong, but it's still, So that's the same thing anyway, so what does it matter? Right. So that's that. That's 50 minutes. We went down, we covered it. I got this. All of this is written down, right? Yesterday on the Reddit subreddit the Reddit/r/Tradespotting. It's all there, and it's helpful. And I'm going to answer Bad Man Pajama's question about Weeble and what that support and resistance means after the video. I'm going to have something to eat, and then I might fucking collapse with exhaustion. No, I have to take care of Coco, so I won't collapse. I'll take care of Coco. Got people relying on me. So yeah. What's with you treasure hunters, guys? I thought you were getting somewhere, huh? Thought you were getting somewhere for a minute there. Thanks, everybody. Tradespotting. When I have a bad period in my life, I go watch Groundhog Day. It helps put some perspective on what's happening right now. Yo, Arnie. Yo, Arnie, you're such a legend. You know, you're so nice and you're so, like, come across as so solid in all the things you communicate. And it wouldn't even have occurred to me that you would have had a bad period in your life. It never would even occurred. Honestly, that's how nice and cheery you've been. All the conversations I've ever seen you have as well. It makes me think he's a nice guy and he's supportive and he's helpful. And he's cool. And he knows what he's doing. He tries to do the right thing. And I never would have thought it, you know. So everybody has hard periods of time. So I sympathise and empathise, and so does everybody else that's honest a lot. And thanks for being such a good bloke. And like you say, Groundhog Day, what a fucking quality movie. I've tried to use it a couple of times in me old movies myself because I love it. It's fucking awesome. Absolutely fucking love that movie. And I like Die Another Day one, or is it Tomorrow Never Dies, whatever it is with Tom Cruise. Similar theme, but like Groundhog Day is better and funnier, and you know, obviously Bill Murray. In Murray we trust. Yeah, Murray's a legend. What a guy. I've got a story about that. I told everyone I've got that story, but I'm not telling it. Just popped up for GME. This is the cheapest I've got him so far. Legend. Good on you, mate. That is cheap, right? I feel that this is very bullish, right? I feel it is. I felt like it for a long time. I felt like it for a long, long time. I think this is like hard. It was hard for us to go through this. Like, it was hard for me seeing you guys. It was hard to watch going through this. I know it's only a 15-minute chart. I know that it's like not much of a retrace of all of this amazingness and that, but you know, I was talking about it with Rocky yesterday after the stream. I was like, God, you know, all the difficulties that like the thousands of people that are doing of experiencing that, if only they could just feel alright about shit and that. And it's like the bastards that paint this shit on the chart and wankers that go short on this when it could be changing the world if they just decided to go on the other side of the trade and still make, like, you know, probably make shitloads more money. Is it bad I've never watched Groundhog Day? No, you would enjoy it, I suspect. Focus on the goal, not the jungle. We have to cut through to get there. Don't be discouraged, but you can't see the goals through the trees. Keep cutting, moving forward, and you will enter time. Yep, exactly. That's it. Just keep going with those machetes. Swipe, swipe, swish, swish. Yeah, so that's what we're looking for. It'd be good to see that, right? So this is essentially what I'm looking for. Right? I'm looking for prices to recover around 222, and then they'll be like we saw already 227, 222. Ugh, that's difficult. And then I'd be looking for after that. I'd be looking like maybe at the end of the day. That's what happens, and we finish up around there. If we could get above 233, oh, I'd love that. I really would. I'd love that. And then if we get above 244, I'd love it even more. It may have to wait until tomorrow for that. It may have to wait for a little bit longer even. But if we could, then we'd be looking at getting up to, we'd be looking at getting somewhere up around the 280s, 290s at the end of the week. And that would be fucking incredible for GME. It really fucking would be. And if then we start getting daily closes, my friends, we start getting daily closes up around here of this 330 level. You know. It's just stupid what's going to happen. It is stupid, right? It's stupid what's going to happen. And it's nothing to do with the squeeze, right? Nothing to do with the squeeze. It'll be buying pressure that takes us there, regardless of the shorts covering. It's because everyone who works, the jobs that I used to work at, will be like, right, well, have we got our shit in to get? No, we haven't. We have to get it, right? And if the buying power of GME is increasing this much, it's like also going through the Russell funds and all the rest of it, you know, and it's just raised $1 billion, right? I mean, this is our company and it's fucking excellent, right? It's fucking excellent. You know, when you support, you don't know if you do, right? But if you're into sport and that, and you've got your team and you're like, sweet, they've got all the players I wanted them to have. And then you're like, oh, and including the captain who's just leads them so well. And then you're like, whoa, and my Seville team have got, or whatever sport is, and they've got loads of money in the bank. So they can just do whatever they want. And they're already like got all of me and all of the other fans. You know, we're the fifth man, we're like the 12th man, however many people are in your team, we're the extra one. You know, you can count on us. Whereas the enemy can't, they don't have that. And so it's like, all of these things together, it's like the set up for the perfect season, and this is a new season. It's a whole new thing, right? And it is it's very different from AMC, I think, in the way they've raised their money. It's all very different. I think this is a whole new company. This is a new company. This is going to be fucking huge in future, regardless of what you or I think. This company is going to be huge, and this is the start of it, right? This here, people look back on that and they're like, well, those guys back in the early 2020s. Remember those guys back in the early 2020s who were like scared about that, you know, and they'll have no understanding. They'll have no concept of what it was. Literally, up when you get up around here, right, up around $1,000, and people are buying it, and it's on the news again. Finally, makes the news. Especially, see the amount of shit they talk about on CNBC, the amount of stuff they say about meme stocks, the amount of stuff, right? It's fucking wall to wall. And can you find GME in there? Can you? Right? I hear about meme stocks all the time on CNBC, and I'm like, where is GME then? I thought we were. I was sure we were getting something about GME on this report. No, again, nothing. Nothing. What the fuck? Anyway, so when it's like broken through all that fucking bollocks that controls the media, and it's up at $1,000, and people are buying it, and like still people like Seeking Alpha and whatever come along, and they're like, wait, we're going to have to say this is now a buy, and everyone's like, this is a buy, and like stupid technical analysis on the bottom of these things here, like what the fuck, like at the bottom of this here, this stupid thing, people use this fucking ass about shit face shit. As it turned out, like, here they are, right? They're saying sell, right? That's how stupid this is now. They're not FUDs, right? It's not FUD, it's just like, that doesn't work. It's not technical analysis. More technicals. You've got technicals there, have you? So it's like, God, bugger off, eh? It's stupid. And they'll all be flicking to buy, and price will be at $1,000, right? I'm even talking about that. It's just that's what we're looking at. That's where we're looking for prices to go. I mean, we're basically investing in a brand new tech company that is guaranteed to succeed. Yeah, and because we keep investing in it, we're all guaranteed to succeed with it. Yeah. And I don't know about you guys, right? I literally don't know about all of you guys. Some of you might not feel this way, and it's true. But I say it frequently, like when we get paid, we buy more. I mean, when I get paid, I buy more, and some of the people I know do. When they get paid, they buy more. And I get paid for the very first time, with any degree of significance, and it still isn't what you might expect. I get paid by the very first time, other than a $1.94 payment by YouTube today. I think it's today. Which would be really fucking handy. There's almost more than one perspective to know if that's yours true or correct one. For your own circumstances, you really need to know the other perspective, point of view, then and only then, right? Exactly. Can one make a proper informed decision for themselves? Yes, exactly, right? So helpful to have the other side of the argument, like it really is, which is why like arguments needn't necessarily be lead to fallings out, you know, because you're both getting something from it, even if you don't agree at the end of it, right? And if you want everyone to agree with you, you know, what? I mean, I prefer it when people disagree with me. I like it when they do it in a nice way, though, but that's that. So, you're right, Andy, you're helping out people there, and I hope lots of people have taken advantage of Frostcrest's offer on Rocky's Discord to discuss and learn about options. He's on a fucking quest to become really good at that shit. And it's great to be around him, and Frostcrest, I check in on that, and I look at some of your shit, and I'm like, boom, this guy's helping me learn more stuff sometimes, and that, you're awesome. You're really good at what you do, and so is everybody else that joins in there. These are all well contributing loads, and that fucking awesome. So that's everything on that front. And Eeks, how's it going, Eeks? How you doing, mate? Juro, the opposite of what Motley Fool tells you, and you'll be rich. Yeah, Motley Fool. Motley Fool is such a scam. How can people not see it? Every one of their messages are like, here's what you should be buying instead of, and puts in what you should be buying, right? Like all through 2018, 2019, 2020, they were like, here's a better investment than Bitcoin. And you're like, what are you talking about? They went from like 3,000, 5,000, 8,000 to 62,000. And they're like, why are you? And then Ethereum started picking up, and they're like, here's a better buy than Ethereum. And you're like, seriously, what's fuck going on? When Banco busto. When Banco. Oh, that's a good one. But he does stick another word in at the end, Cachicho, to get the proper sentence. People aren't going to get it inherently. When banco, they don't know intuitively, they think we're going to turn into a bank. Well, I suppose in the future, but banks are just rules. Better understand what and why. Better understand what and why. And if you're looking for someone to give you the answer, what you're looking for is a shortcut. And if you're looking for a shortcut, then you're rushing to be rich, and there's no help in that. Whereas there's plenty of wealth in waiting to be right. And if that involves waiting, that's patience. If that means you have to learn how to do things for yourself, then you'll have a skill. You'll have an edge. And you'll have something empirical to test so that you can get better and better. And then a tip taker is a tip giver, and neither can rely on themselves. But yeah, they own a hedge fund, or do they not own by a hedge fund? But it was one and the same, right? Forget GameStop, invest in corn futures. Well, we're not going to forget GameStop and the corn futures. I mean, I haven't looked at corn futures right now, so maybe they are due for a big jump. I know that they've gone up something like 40% in the last wee while and that, so I don't know. And what else did people want me to look at today? They wanted me to look at other stuff. People were talking about all sorts of stuff they wanted me to look at in different places. And they were saying this, and I was saying, well, you don't want to do this. To a couple of people of this, and pre-market messages about this. And this is so dodgy. That bounce there, an hourly, like the people that are trading this, right? It's still got a bit of a gap to close there, which it may well do. People that are trading this have done really well if they were in here, right? Really, really, really well. And then after that, I don't know, how much more of your movie you're looking for, right? I mean, you're going to change the world with this thing, right? Are you going to change the world with this? Because otherwise, is it not fair to say that most of the market participants who trade this will be happy with a 600% rise? I mean, I suspect they will be. So is it my advice to jump into shit like that that's just done something like that? No, it isn't. No, it isn't. Regardless of what it does, right? Because there's no need to be greedy and silly and things. So there's that hourly candle. Whoa. Pardon me, stretching things out. That's that hourly candle there with that retrace, with that sort of whatever is that. Is it on any time frame? Was it a gap that it closed? Nope. The 4 hours still going. It's not going to probably do any of that. Yeah, so that's the answer. That's the answer to the questions. What was the question? I don't know, but that's the answer. Ape Anti-Legend. Did I miss that? Ape Anti-Legend. Sir, hopefully I run into you with my fanny bag and maybe get it signed by Trades, Rocky Lightning, and Ape Andy. Is Ape Andy here? Fucking where is Ape Andy? Is he here? Yo, Ape Andy, how you doing? Love you, buddy. Love you, buddy. Yeah, man. My signature is funny. I once signed a football. I was like, I'm just going to sell this football. I got this football. I was going to sign it and see if I can sell it on eBay, and somebody bought it. And I think they just bought it because they wanted the football, and they thought, I'll pay extra for that one because it's signed. But it was signed by me, and I didn't say who it was signed by, and that's quite funny. Anyway, whatever. It was only a few quid, but it was funny to me at the time. Forget corn futures. Here are 3 male stocks to choose from. You don't want to be doing that, mate. You want to be doing this. You don't want to be doing that, mate. You don't want to be listening to anyone. You just make your own decision. And when you do listen to people, and that, feel free to discard anything I say that you think stupid. That's totally cool. Oh, and Christy was going to ask me to talk about Picnic if I could. Talk about Picnic. Can you talk about identify that Wyckoff distribution based phase changes? Phase changes. You want your point and figure chart really D. Kim Robbins. That was that one. Oh yeah, I'm talking about it's the same thing in the gaming world. Yo, that's Benjama. Tell him he's a fanny now. That is Piss Cutter. Thanks for the great info. Training, Yo Rookie, Arse of Labour, Matt's Boys, and then some more people subscribed, right? So what was I going to cover there? And did want to cover something. What was it, guys? I said I was going to do it right there, and then I did this. Oh, it was Picnic. People wanted to look at Picnic. Well, I'll give you I'll explain what it is, right? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to sell it to you or that. I'll just explain what Picnic is, right? This is Picnic. You get to it by going to picnic.network, and you'll be able to read all about it yourself. On here we've got the GitHub, which most of the work we do on it's on the local server. So what there is I don't know, if you do code and you want to join along and help and do stuff, whatever, very welcome, right? And you can get in touch with us loads of different ways to do that. If you want to, you'll notice that we'll have profiles on GitHub, and if you want to get in contact with us there for your own one, cool, do send us a message. I'd love to hear from you. You've got the white paper, right? That's like a technical document that companies that are involved in these sort of things should have, certainly before they ask you for any fucking money. And then you've got the Twitter and the Telegram, and they're for staying up to date with important things. But obviously, since we've been doing GME, we didn't want to sell anything, so we haven't maybe talked about it so much. Right now, what is Picnic? Right, well, it's a whole new type of way of looking at capital, investing your capital, so that you achieve capital efficiencies, and so that, you know, when you're buy and hold, you bear the brunt of market pressure. This is the truth, and you never get rewarded for that extra brunt. Never, right? Never. In fact, you get laughed at and ridiculed. And so, why is that, right? Well, it's because of the bastards that control the world, and the systems that have been set up are like a few hundred years old, and we spent a long time getting to where we are, and they're very good, but they're really inefficient, and there's loads of chunks of them that are redundant, and now with new technology it's completely unnecessary. And so, like, this Picnic is the idea of having a two-coin ecosystem, one which separates everybody from a degree of the risk, while still allowing for speculation, right? So it's two type of coins. Two coins. It's one network. One's Picnic. One's Basket. Picnic is for network operations, right? Basket holds in underlying securities, and those securities are in three different funds. One will eventually include currencies. Another one will include other types of assets that are you can see more about in the white paper, and we'll look at it in a second. And the third one is cryptocurrencies, and this cryptocurrencies one is the easiest way to get it started and to build value for people who hold. I know that you think that sounds silly if you're looking at crypto markets dropping at the minute, but like, this is one of the other reasons why we didn't want to launch in the middle of a bull market, because you're kind of taking the piss out of people. Prices are going to then have a correction. That was obvious from when we were starting this thing. And we didn't want to take people's money only to leave them pissed off for months, right? We don't want to put that opportunity cost in front of their face, so it didn't quite make it, right? So in terms of these two things, they interact with each other, because one, for holding Basket token, you're rewarded, right? You're rewarded with the increase in this fund and its purchasing power. You're rewarded with Picnic token, which you can either convert and add back into your Basket balance, or you can use it on the Picnic network, which is the things you can do here are just like you can do in lots of others. Forward-looking cryptocurrencies, and it's very much in the mold of a decentralized process, right? The whole thing works on a DAO, which means that, like, no one shareholder has control over anything, and even the people who run the business don't have control over it. It's the community who and the network of people who use it. And so this is all the things you can do with it. Some of them you can't do with any other cryptocurrency in the world, right? Like, there's an options exchange for trade. There'll be for trading options on it, right? That's like a sort of slightly later down the road, but like, the things that are involved in it are all good. The staking processes, the way in which we do this, is completely different from lots of other companies, for lots of other cryptocurrencies. Pardon me. And then, of course, the Basket token and the way in which we preserve wealth there, right? Now it's kind of basically laid out here. There's a rebalancing algorithm within this fund, so that when certain assets increase in their purchasing power, then you can reduce the holding of them and add to those which are lower, so that you're constantly adding via purchasing power and growing the underlying fund, so that it represents more and more value to people. And you reward people with Basket token. If you want to swap your Basket token out, right, we'll let you do that. It does have an underlying value represented by these funds. That's like a completely different concept in this whole thing, right? And most people won't understand how revolutionary this is, because they don't quite understand cryptocurrency all that well. But you'll be able to get your money back from Basket, but there'll be a cost to withdrawing it, which is like, people have, I suspect, seen this idea that we've been talking about, because we've interacted with a lot of different people in the industry. And so there'll be a 10% transaction fee when it is when your redemption fee when you're taking things out of the basket funds, which means that everybody who's left in there is being rewarded with an extra 10% value that they themselves didn't have to purchase. And so that's why buying and holding will increase your value over time, and that itself is an innovation in the bonding curve, right? And it's all laid out in the white paper, which I'll go just click on briefly in a second. Also, we use smart arbitrage so that those people who are using this network are able to swap feeless transfers of cryptocurrencies within this network to people who are also holding basket tokens. It's another massive benefit to people. People who know about fees will think this is incredible, and to see the way that it's done and how it benefits everybody is really different. And the way we use 2 coins and a dual tokenomic system in order to create these innovations is very different from most people, right? And it's totally legit, and we've set it up so that it's as fair as it can fucking be. And I urge you to look through this as much as you can, see all the things we've got planned. There's Rocky, there's me. You know, you can look into our history there if you're interested in figuring out who are these guys. Yo, here's Rocky. Then you can see it there, right? And there's loads of other things. You click on the white paper. No, I'm just about finished though. Go through here, you can see how it all works, all laid out, it's all there, everything, right? Even down to the point where we've got the security measures, all the anti-scam stuff, the insurance that you'll have for people, all the auditing from external firms, right? This is as open and as honest as you'll ever see a company be. And the utility and the governance, like, look at this, look at the way that things are worked, right? Look at this. I urge you if you're interested in it. Anyway, but I'm not, because I'm not selling it anyway. I'm not pushing it. I'm selling it eventually. Whatever the fuck, right? It's a new paradigm in DeFi, right? It's based standing on the shoulders of these sort of giants, drives competition, and it rewards network participants, and it's based on lots of different innovation which release capital efficiencies instead of like locking down holders and making you bear the brunt of the fucking world. Right now, feel free to look at it. It's all there. That's what it is. And there's your answer, Christie, which I hope is I hope you like that, and you're very welcome to talk to me about it off stream. And don't want to talk about it too much because I know that I'll get shit thrown at me. But like, look, if you want to throw shit at me, look at Unreasonable.shop. It's entirely unreasonable. Throw shit at me for that. This other thing. It's like a legit where I want to put my life energy. You know what I mean? That's what I think about these sort of things, right? Into those sort of things. And when I do well, I've MOAS, and that if that would be something that gets to the point where I'll be able to, trust me, it's much higher than most people. If it does get there, and then I'll be able to help my family and do this, and then the next thing I do is put money towards that idea, which is my vehicle for fucking the rest of the people that fuck the world. But I can't do it on my own. So there will be like opportunities for people who want to be involved to help, for sure. Of course there will, and that's why I was up till like 4 a.m. last night speaking to people in Asia about things, because there is private investment round coming soon. Whatever, you can see all that if you talk to me separately, and I'm not trying to push that on people that are doing that. And my advice for anyone, if they're, and it's not financial advice, but if you're looking for it, is buy and hold GME, right? That's it, right? That's that. And this other thing is totally different, right? It's nothing to do with those. They're not related at all, right? Anyway, so yeah, that's what we're looking for. Oh, I got a donation. I got a couple. Thank you so much, Jamie. We'll read about it. Thanks, mate. You're very welcome. Thanks, mate. You don't have to thank me at all, and you don't have to contribute, but thanks so much, because it does bookend that conversation, and so people can see that I did it because Christy paid. Otherwise I probably wouldn't have done that, right? I could have done that any time in months, and I could have spent hours waxing lyrical about it, but I didn't. Stop talking about it. Thanks. So that's that, and I think covered everything, covered little bits. Rocky's here. I'm starving, right? So right, thanks so much, and don't you hate it when YouTubers say, I love you guys too? But I do, I fucking do love you so much. Because the relationship I have with you is so important to me. You know, it really is. People ask me how I'm doing that. I'm like, I'm doing great because these people are doing great. And these people are doing great despite the fact that price action was going against them for weeks and weeks and weeks. Like, it gets me emotional thinking about it. So thanks so much, everybody. Why is that on that? Oh, it's because I moved that off and then people weren't able to see the price all the time. 209 spot 60. Whoa. Oh my goodness, what's going to happen? Well, we're back inside this wedge, but are we? Because is that the wedge, or is this the wedge? And if this is the wedge, 1, 2, 3, still here. What had the Bollinger Bands are earlier? Where are they now? They're bigger around the higher time frames. Go down early. Underneath there, want to finish above that. This will be picking up. This is going to tighten again. And it's going to tighten in and around our upper resistance here, and then things are going to get better. So fantastic. See you later on for the chat with Rocky. You guys are awesome. Yous are all very nice, thanks, and I love yous too. And go fuck anyone who says I can't say that or calls me a YouTuber. I'm lots of fucking things before I'm a YouTuber, but I'm a YouTuber, and I'm not got a fucking problem with it. And if people have a problem with YouTubers, then here, look, here's a new one with a different kind of shit on the go. Yo. Bang fucking bong, failure to deliver, what a legend. So many nice legends. How can I not love yous? What the fuck am I supposed to say? Could just act all cool. Yo, I'm cool. I'm cool guy. You. Oh, credits. I could roll credits and say thanks. Do that, Jimmy. Roll your credits. Roll credits. Andy A. Hippity dippity dub. Hedgety floppity. GME Moon. Rocket taking off soon. All hail Scottish TA. Damon Ann's baby. Andy A. Thanks for being such a great guy person. Thanks for being so handy and nice in the community. Thank you. Our great friend, Daniel, Danya, Tim, Max, Bama Majama, D. Harker, Summer D, Mark, Harry H. Jones, Lucinda, Kim Robbins, Christy Bundari, Rocco Groupie, and Arch of Labour. So much for donating. Thank you so much. And Andy A. who didn't make it. Thank you. McRae, Cosper, Roberto, Very Deputy, Never Present, Liam Green, Stefan, Matt, Sammy, thanks for subscribing. And a new Doomslayer, Tommy Berman, who signed up right at the start, a new chimp. Thanks so much. That's a really good way of helping channels. Really support. All that support really helps. And everybody else, and Daniel with that lucky good luck fiver as usual. What legend, everything, everybody, you're also helpful. Today, every other day, people of all different walks and that contribute in loads of different ways to the success, and to me contribute my happiness and motivation, and I appreciate all of it every way, even if it's just a watch or time or like or whatever, or subscribe and all the rest of it too. And then, like, you know, I've talked about all this shit ages, but like sharing it and that, and then people that are creative and that, so like you guys are God's gift, thanks so much. And then everybody, thanks. You're in Fife. Well, you got some sunshine today, haven't you, Peter? Listening in sunny Fife again while mowing the lawn. Nice one. What a good day. I like it when you get the lawn mowed on a weekday. Yeah, awesome. Hope you have a nice afternoon, enjoying it afterwards too, Peter. Maybe a nice cool drink and the sun persists. So thanks very much.